Force of your bond, a power like life itself, unseen for generations, a dyad in the Force.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Dyad in the Force, episode 271, the one where we can finally talk about TMAG, or the Mandalorian and Grogu spoilers. But first, shout out to everybody in the chats, the TikTok side. Darth Angel's already off and running with the likes on that side. We appreciate you. Shout out to VGC, who's going to be at a wedding, but we all know his thoughts. Yes, yes, yes. Master James Kenobi, Cub Cost Cantina, going with the alliterative channel name. I like it. Jedi Connor, Aaron Z, 127 movie. That's a name. Sharpshot 6111. But yeah, Choco, how's it going?
It's going good. It's going good. You know, I'm rocking the it's just specifically I left this color yellow. And then whenever I wear the shirt, it makes me feel a little bit like Luke Cage. I'm not in my Luke Cage shape anymore, but I'm working on it.
You're still a power man, though.
We'll be getting there. We'll be getting there. But yeah, how about you? What's new?
Doing good. Can't complain. Well, I can complain, actually. These DMV things come in at the worst times, and they like shake up your budget. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sitting pretty, I'm flying, and then like, all right, here's that mail. I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta register my car for another year, and that's gonna That's gonna take a chunk out of my wallet. And I realize like it's like due in a week too. I'm like, great. So it's just other than that though, things are great. Other than the state of our country, things are great, you know.
The world's on fire. How about yours?
I wish I had that
good old Smash Mouth.
I wish I had that meme of that dog in the house, just like, it's fine. Everything's fine. Aaron Z says, hello, Dyad crew. Sharpshot says, don't you think maybe Star Wars is maybe just played out for now? No. I mean, we just had a movie come out. But, you know, we don't just talk about Star Wars here. That's why we have mixers.
Yeah, we're into more things than just Star Wars. But you know what? If you're tired of Star Wars, if you're feeling the fatigue, there's nothing wrong with that, right? That's okay. I just wish that we could appreciate that it's okay if we're not all in the same boat. You know, if you need to take a break, then you can take a break. You know, it's not like officially all the fans of Star Wars are tired of Star Wars, because I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, videos be made. Damned if there's a show or a movie out or not, you know, and that's how we make our content, because we have lots of misinformation to correct. And just to kind of echo Choco's kind of sentiment, like, even if you don't want to talk Star Wars, you know, we're here to talk to you. We're here to hang out. Whatever you guys want to talk about, you know, we'll entertain it. Aaron Z says, I have movie in my username because I also have a music account with the same name, but with music in the username. Gotcha. Makes sense. Spooky says, I like Star Wars when it wasn't cool. I liked Star Wars when it was cool. I love Star Wars when it's not cool too again. You like Star Wars because of Padme or Natalie Portman, or both?
Listen, it's a plus, but you know.
Cupcast Cantina says, Star Wars Celebration literally sold out on the same day Star Wars is doing fine. I mean, yeah. But of course, like, you know, it's still just, again, to reiterate what Choco said, you know, you can still kind of feel kind of exhausted or kind of bummed out of Star Wars. That's totally fine. Us as content creators, you know, we're always in the thick of it, whether it's going back in time to talk about misinformation of lore or covering something new. There's always something to talk about, you know. Darth Angel says, what do you think about Spider Noir? I'm looking forward to it. I mean, this is something that I didn't think we needed.
It dropped. Right?
The trailer did drop a long time ago, actually.
No. It
dropped. Shout out to Luke from Pod One's podcast. What's going on, fellas? Luke, you should call in. We're going to talk spoilers for the Mandalorian and Grogu. If you wanna chime in, I know you've talked yourself exhausted on your own podcast, but you know, it's always good to, you know, talk about it with other people. Big pipe, huh?
Yeah. So Spider-Man Noir came out May 25th. Yeah. I mean, it already dropped.
Oh.
I saw that it was going to be on MGM Plus, and so it was like, I guess I'm not going to see it.
I thought it was. I mean, I was watching basketball, and I saw an ad for it on Prime. So I don't know. Maybe it's Prime MGM Plus. Because I know Prime, you can just like a la carte sub to other things as well through it.
Yeah, but I'm not going to.
I'm just saying, it's been 10 years of Star Wars movie shows. I kind of miss missing Star Wars. Maybe I'm not making any sense. No, you're right though. I mean, there's certainly, it's an odd feeling when George wasn't doing anything with Star Wars. We were like, I guess I'm just gonna like harp on the prequels again or something. But like, and then like he did Clone Wars, and then we all, you know, lost our shit when Clone Wars was canceled, and we had like years and years of nothing new, and we wanted more Star Wars. We got more Star Wars, and we not we, but this society wasn't ready for it, you know. And it still continues.
You're not
to
ready
this
for
day.
it, but your kids are gonna love it.
Yeah. I didn't watch Mando season 3. Do I need to watch that before the movie?
That's gonna be an OnlyFans charge, sir.
No.
No. It's a completely narratively insulated story. The stuff that is in there that you would probably love, or the stuff that's in there that you would enjoy seeing and recognizing, is there had you watched Mando season 3. But like the story itself isn't contingent upon that knowledge. Just like Choco said in our non-spoiler review or non-spoiler first impressions, largely the movie stands on its own. You don't need to know any of the characters.
Yeah.
You can
Now, I'm sure if you'll
understand it.
watch it, you'll see things that you're like, oh, I'm sure that there's more story here, and there probably is, but that's okay. It's not anything that you're gonna be required. But you're absolutely right. By the way, Spider-Man Noir, I can just watch it on Amazon Prime. So apparently, I've been stupid.
Well, there you go.
My bad.
I mean, there you go. It's on Prime, not there you go. He's stupid. Shout out to Kenny for being a Dyad Squadron member for 48 months. That's a long time.
Wow.
That is
4 years.
a lot. Let's see. Too bad y'all aren't into House of the Dragon. That trailer was fire. I just feel like...
Listen, we are into it, but we don't have the same level of knowledge. So like there's people who have read all of those books.
Yeah.
And so when they talk about it, they just provide levels of insight that we can't. Like I feel like the content that people come to us about, I can't offer that over there. You know what I mean? Like I can just be like, that was awesome. You know?
Yeah. Rings of Power is a little bit different. I am a Legendarium lore head, but like, I don't know. Should we cover Rings of Power when it comes back, like officially on this channel? I feel like we need to. Did you guys also hear about Marsha Lucas? What happened to Marsha Lucas?
Is there more with Marsha Lucas?
Luke, you should call in. We need Acolyte season 2. That was kind of Star Wars I wanted to see.
That's like new news of Marsha Lucas. That she passed away.
When did this happen? Like hours ago?
Most of the reports are, the oldest report I can see is about an hour ago, but
Wow.
it looks like she passed on May 27th, so 2 days ago.
Well, may she rest in peace.
Yeah, shout out to the unsung hero of the original trilogy.
Yeah, the savior. You know, I don't think we would be actually, you know, when I think about like hindsight, when I think about largely what sequence of events is required for us to be at a particular absolute point in time, I feel like this is it. I mean, you know, I feel like Marsha had a significant impact on Star Wars, you know, because who knows how Star Wars would have been received, how it would have travailed without her input. You know, isn't that weird? Like,
Yeah.
what do you think? Like, do you think so? Okay.
Well, listen, Star Wars, like from the outset, back in 1977, it broke the mold. It did things that no other film had done, and it changed film and the concept of blockbusters forever, and change what merchandising is. It greatly influenced what like movie soundtracks are. Like in every way, it touched film, and it inspired generations of filmmakers. People saw that and said, I wonder how that's made. It's done generations of, you know, people who of effects artists and actors and stunt doubles and all of this stuff joined the industry because they saw Star Wars and it touched them in a very special way. And that first movie was saved in the edit by Marsha Lucas. So without her, if that first movie didn't hit like it did, it's curtains on everything. You know what I mean? Like that has to be a fixed point in time. There are, we wouldn't have got Empire for one, because that was a fight in and of itself. Even with the success, before we may have gotten, instead of Empire, we may have gotten a Splinter of the Mind's Eye movie, which would have changed lore forever, and countless actors and filmmakers and producers wouldn't have joined the industry, at least not without someone else inspiring them.
It's really difficult to kind of wrap your head around what Star Wars would be culturally had all of that not happened. Like, would Star Wars have been as successful? Would it have become the cultural icon?
No.
Franchise?
No. I mean, there's no way it would have.
That's rough. Well, yeah, rest in peace, Marsha Lucas. Hope she's in a better place, like Aaron Z said. Marsha Lucas and Richard Chew were the reason why the editing in A New Hope worked so well. I hope she's in a better place, and may she rest her soul. I'm currently in my car door dashing. Don't I know that struggle? And because of this not surprise, but like, I would be eschewing responsibility, much like because of this car registration thing that I forgot about. I'm gonna have to do some extra dashing as well. A little sidetracked, but also editor for Martin Scorsese, Taxi Driver. Ooh. Mm-hmm. I didn't even know that. There's just some, man. There's some really unsung heroes that you just really don't like put in the time and effort to like truly appreciate.
Well, what's funny is like, you know how amongst the, like, content creators in like the TikTok space, there's like a few of us in the entertainment space that all know each other and we always see each other at events and all this stuff. But it's not as big of a group as you would expect it to be. Does that make sense? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, the film industry was just like that as well. You know, like coming up, all these big guys. Steven Spielberg and George Lucas and. I mean, there's just so many of these guys that all came up together, and so they were all like, George Lucas would meet with all of these like nowadays massively famous directors, and would like bounce ideas off of them for Star Wars and stuff, and they all knew each other, and I just think that's fascinating as well.
Yeah. Armor Frog says, what's the worst job you've ever worked?
Worst job I ever worked was my first job. First job I worked doing carpet cleaning. Now, the job itself could have been fine. Could have. But they had me, like, our uniform thing, like the shirt I guess they just thought, you know, it looked nice, whatever, but it was like made of wool. It was high quality, but it was not thin. It was not moisture wicking, right? It was not easy to wear. Mind you, I'm living in Northern California. So it's like summertime, which it's, you know, 110, 115, you know, sometimes up there. And so I'm like cleaning the carpet of this massive home in Folsom. They don't have the air conditioning on because what do they care? So I'm running, there's machinery up the stairs to the far corner. I'm just like sweating and dying. That was terrible. I hated that job.
I can't say that I knock my first job was McDonald's, as is a lot of the cases for you know, people in school, but I can't knock it because, you know, I got free lunches and, you know, it allowed me to buy my first ever video game with my own money. I graduated from that to retail. I worked for Gap for like a long time. I think the worst job that I could possibly think of is when I sold vacuums, because I'm not a salesman, and I felt outside of myself, like doing the script. And that stuff, like, you had some like tremendously,
I did sell cable door to door.
Yeah, we had some tremendously charismatic salesmen on our team, and like the script to them was like the framework, but of course, like, I'm not good at it, so I was just like,
hey, you have some tremendously charismatic people on this podcast.
yeah, because we were doing what we love. If I had to go around selling Star Wars, I'd be so charismatic. But yeah, I didn't work too long in that job, because I sold 2 vacuums, and that was like the best day of my life and during that time. But like each and every week, like following, was just me kind of going through the motions and being like, yeah, like, this is the suction power. And then, like, obviously I knew all of the things we were showing was curated to show its suction power in that context. But we were selling some pretty horrible vacuums.
Yeah, that's rough. So I mean, I do enjoy doing sales, but I refuse to sell anything that I don't believe in personally. No. Eaton Black mentions The Secret History of Star Wars, goes into Marshall Lucas's value to Star Wars in detail. I highly recommend that book.
We should do a video on that.
Yeah. So that book, one of the cool things that it does is it's like a history book that's not told from the perspective of the victors. You know, this is told outside of Lucasfilm from the perspective of just history, just data. It's because George Lucas revises himself a lot. Yep. Especially over time, and so this just follows everything back. And one of the interesting things is, like, you know, like there was I want to say 7 different scripts for A New Hope. Right, first one was just Hidden Fortress, yeah, and it's like, yeah, this is, I'll probably get sued for this, and then it kind of goes through what each of the revisions were, and, you know, how they did things, and it's a fascinating story of, like, I mean, he built himself like a little campus for writers to all hang out and just vibe, and like, you know, off of the success of American Graffiti, in order to help propel himself into Star Wars, and it's really cool.
Yeah, I feel like we should definitely do a video on it, especially if we want to honor, you know, Marshall Lucas's contribution to Star Wars. So add that to our list. But shout out to let's see here, Cubcos, who says that he almost forgot Gage is the winner of our box office opening weekend predictions. Cubcos, remind me what I guessed.
Gage is just always right. I feel like that is the lesson that we're learning. So yeah, Gage knows ball.
You must gauge what you have ungaged. Chet says on TikTok, glad I caught this. Love your debunk vids. Yeah, we do. I mean, for the longest time, we've wanted to debunk a lot of really egregiously incorrect lore videos, but it got to a point where like there was just a lot of like 2-hour videos that were just like it would take us 5 hours. So we're just finding shorts.
Yeah.
Shorts are the most egregious because like people do actually consume these, and like I don't know how people like don't recognize AI slop, but it's just like it's so offensive when they come out with their first sentence. Did you know the Sith was terrified of this weapon?
Well, no, it's a game of telephone, right? And I think that one of the biggest problems is just the content creator market. Is that things are just judged off of eyeballs, right? But not off of like quality or accuracy. And so you can, and then you have like the weird zeitgeist where someone can watch someone talk about something and then they can log into Wikipedia and write based off of what they heard someone say, and then someone else will grab a Wikipedia article and dump it into AI, and then AI will make something, and then that's their video, and it's so far removed that it's all wrong. I don't know, it's just weird.
I guess the 180 million. I was close. How close did Gage get?
What did I say? I think I said 160.
No,
I don't remember when I said.
I think you were in the 80.
Maybe
I think you were 80 to 100. Cup Goss, what did Choco guess? Sharp Shot said, what if Yoda was not protecting his home world from the galaxy, but was protecting the galaxy from his home world?
I mean, I like it's just kind of like a what if I don't know, that's just the quote from Watchmen. I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me.
You know what? That's actually a really that's actually a really fun thought, because right, I imagine now like there's a scene in my head where like Yaddle comes out of nowhere and tries to join the Jedi Order, and then Yoda kind of like draws on her. He's like, what is your purpose? And Yaddle's like, I just want to be a Jedi. He's like, okay. So you just make sure like any kind of species that's why he hid Grogu away while training him, right? He wasn't among the general population.
What if Yoda doesn't even know his species? What if his species on their planet like no one is force sensitive, but when they are, they're massively powerful, and so they're like the babies come, they're like, oh, it's one of them, get them out of here, and they shoot the babies out into space in a little pods.
That would make sense. Kind of like Dooku and Sereno, you know, just like, he's a demon, cast them away.
I like to take an idea and see how many different ways I can run with it, like from a writing perspective.
How y'all doing mentally dealing with all that? I know it can be taxing. I mean, that we have a lot of self-soothing and therapeutic things to do, like watching anime and watching other shows and talking to you guys every week, you know. This is as therapeutic as it is for us as it would be for anyone else who thinks this is therapy.
You know, that's something like I get asked fairly often, and yes, I actually, you know, am nowhere near as nice as I once was because of it. But the honest truth is that the whole reason I started making content in the first place was like the summer of 2020, and things in the country were just not good.
I started.
That was when we, you know, when there was all the Black Lives Matters protests, and people forget, because people think about the protests and not why the protests took place to begin with, you know. So picture, you know, me, and you know, I'm looking around, and I keep finding articles of like they find Black people hanging from trees in weird places, and the cops are like, it's a suicide. Yeah, this guy drove 100 miles out of his way to a city he didn't know and hung himself in front of like the courthouse. And there was a lot of anxiety and stuff that came with that. And so I started talking about Star Wars online to ease myself from that anxiety, right? So yeah, you can ask, oh, how does it to do with stuff in this community? Safer than that. Yeah, and things are too bad, you know, that whole crapshoot is coming back. Maybe that's why I started making content again. I got asked why I returned. That also might be part of it.
Wow. Our TikTok live got restricted for quote unquote S word and self-harm. I don't know. I guess when I said therapy and like self-soothing, I guess, or maybe
no, but I mean, TikTok was purchased by the right-wing oligarchy, so they're going to. I think I'm the one who triggered it, but yeah.
I started in December 2019, and you can imagine why. Well, I wasn't originally. So, like, my first video was actually, like, going off on a girl creator that was dogging on SoCal. And I thought, hey, this is, like, a good launching point. So I literally like made a video to be like, yo, why are you like that? Like, why are you talking down on us?
What's wrong with you? Why are you like this?
But
Get
then,
some help.
But then, like, obviously I was you know, I was doing YouTube back then, not on TikTok, but I was, you know, I have my reviews of Rebels, I have my reviews of the movies. And that feed started to get delivered to me. And I started seeing people clamoring for George to come back because the sequels just ain't it. And so my first Star Wars video is telling everyone to STFU because you bullied him into selling it in the first place. Which is not the only reason he sold it, but like, I could imagine, you know, somewhere deep within the recesses of his mind, he thought, I don't know, they're just not going to like what I put out anyway.
Choco, you need to make more YouTube videos. I am. I will. I have some plans, and I'm also going to do a lot more anime content as well, just because I just really like it. Geek of All Trades says, I think that is why I want to make content. One thing, I just want to talk with what I just want people to talk with about my geeky interests, but also to combat the hate trains. I just get tired before I even hit record. Listen, I did want to make content for a long time before I started. You know, before I read a lot of Star Wars books growing up, but just like not one after another after the other, you know, I just read them just, you know, randomly throughout life. I got a job where I was fixing cosmetic damage on used cars, and so I was listening to audiobooks a lot, and that's when I started with Star Wars audiobooks, and I just like went ham on them. And it was interesting because at that, you know, back then I did, you know, watch like videos from Star Wars Theory and from other people. And after I had consumed a lot of these books, I would listen to them and be like, he has no idea what he's talking about. Everything he said is absolutely wrong. That's crazy. And I just couldn't listen to any of them anymore. There was only like 2 podcasts I could listen to. One was Blaster Cannon Pod, which is no more, but those were people who just read canon books. And the other one was I think I listened to the Jedi Council podcast. That was one of the like Marvel movie news, DC movie news, and then they had a Jedi Council. Listen to them as well, but like I got irritated at how much bad information there was and how much it affected. You put enough garbage into the zeitgeist, and then people who don't look any deeper believe the garbage, and then they get mad at what comes out because they heard something stupid from that dude over there. So yeah,
we're gonna call a spade from Theory. Like, the guy speaks with so much authority, it's mind-boggling. Especially like his like, I won't say recent, but the videos where he talks about how, like, if anyone understands Star Wars, it's me. Like, the friends that I have, the people that I know people in Lucasfilm, and
so do I. Like, so what?
But like, genuinely, he does, and he has spoken with many people who have worked on Star Wars, given his platform. The problem is, none of it sticks. Like, so he just keeps on like just spewing like his curated version of what he thinks it is, and it's 9 times out of 10 wrong. Probably 10 times out of 10, but 9 times out of 10 on his best day.
Well, here's the thing. I'm sure he had people who worked at Lucasfilm reaching out to him. That's the thing is so did I. And so, like, it's not, it doesn't mean what you think it means. If you keep making a bunch of Star Wars hate content, and then there's people who hate Star Wars who work at Lucasfilm, and they'll reach out to you and be like, yeah, I hate it. And then I make Star Wars content, and the people reach out to me and they're like, yeah, we're super excited and all this stuff. And like, and again, we have people who are very inside the machine, people at ILM, people who are working on animated projects that have not been released yet,
Shout out to Harith. Yeah, that's right, guys. Like this stream.
Yeah, they what's funny is there's actually quite a few people who we've met through content creation who have gone on to get jobs at Lucasfilm, who I still talk to, and so, like, I remember Ahsoka was coming out. There was all these, oh no, these people are talking about it's gonna. No, it wasn't. I knew the whole time because new people that was working on it. They were like, oh, you want to hear some spoilers? I'm like, hell no.
I think that's actually
just answer me this.
I actually think that's a crucial dichotomy between us and. I'm just gonna say that side at this point, because oftentimes he is talking to people that no longer work on Star Wars.
Yeah.
And it I mean, he and a lot of other channels are part of this, I wouldn't call it movement, but part of this machine that has been spewing out lore videos for the longest time, unabated and unchallenged by fact checking. And I know that term can be somewhat stigmatized in certain circles, but if we're going to talk lore, then we have to fact check. We have to cite our sources. And sometimes when people get insulted that we say that's not canon, no, we're just trying to level our data sets. Because if you want to talk about Legends, we'll talk about Legends and what is in continuity with that, with Legends canon, not Prime canon. So, yeah.
Lowrider, honestly, go to Level Up Sabers and get a lightsaber from Master Allen. I promise you. So when it comes to people who are purchasing lightsabers, there are really just a handful of manufacturers in China of these lightsabers, and most people are essentially retailers of this. Theory Sabers is no exception. Now, some people will make their own custom sabers, but I mean, I've had experiences with quite a few of them. I had one that was sent to me, and it was just the worst piece of crap I've ever seen. And they were like, "Can you talk about it?" And I was like, "This is trash. Do you want me to talk about it? Really?" And they're like, "Yeah, nah, never mind." I'm like, "All right, okay, good." But if you order from Master Allen, everything that he has comes from the best of those dealers, and they ship from China to him, where he goes through it and he checks them. He makes sure, that they are good, they are quality before sending anything out to you. So that's why I'd recommend going through Master Allen. He's the best.
Just as an example, this is one of Level Up Sabers. But that's not the one I left to get.
And so is this, my Luke Skywalker.
This is my pride and joy from Level Up, or Level Up Sabers. I'm not gonna unbox the whole thing, but
look at that beautiful Satio Shan saber. Look at it.
Well,
that's just one of them.
Where's the focus on this?
It's looking at your face. You have to get your face out of or cover your face. Specifically your eyes.
I have it on manual. Now I have to lower my
Well, then
desk.
you would have to hold it in the area where it's meant to focus.
Look at that. This is Satio Shan's hilt. It's etched. It's carved. It's not a print.
Yeah.
That's Level Up Sabers.
Aaron Z says, growing up, I wasn't into Star Wars YouTubers that talked about the lore. I only watched people like Hello Greedo that talked about the story or behind the scenes or the movies. I like Hello Greedo. I really like it. I still like him.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really have much issue about like people talking about their opinions. Obviously, everyone has their opinions on it, and we always say, especially with people who think that what we do is go around actualing people, it is only those that pretend to know the lore that proselytize the lore, that preaches the lore and get it wrong. In the same way, like most of my content is replying to comments that are like, you're wrong, and then like they say something without backing it up.
Yeah, Hello Greedo and Star Wars Explained have been around since the 2010s, and both are great creators. I love Star Wars Explained. They are awesome people. I feel like Molly doesn't get the credit she deserves, right? Because it's not.
That's on you, man. I'm just kidding. I'm saying whenever I say Star Wars Explained, I ergo think Alex and Molly.
Yeah. No, as do I, but I just mean, like, I feel like in the fandom you hear people think of Alex, and they think it's like Star Wars Explained and Molly, and like, no, she's working the camera, she's doing the editing, like she's she's in it. You know what I mean? Like she's working on it just as hard as he is all of the time. It's really cool.
Armor Frog did say like a while ago that he was going to make a whole bunch of incorrect lore videos just so that we can have content. Trust me, brother, we don't need you to do that. There's so much out there that's wrong, honestly. Let's see here. You've been taking comments from the recent. I've been stuck scrolled up.
Oh yeah, no, I'm taking them from the Video Ninja window.
All right. I lost. Spicky says I lost respect for Eckerd's Ladder when he groveled for Theory's approval, and Theory tried to lead a hate campaign with lies against Star Wars Explained. You know, I lose respect for any channel that forfeits their own sovereign agency.
Well, I mean, listen. There's this thing that it is just kind of, you know, like right-wing grifter channels do, where there'll be like blatant racism in the community, and people call out the racism, and then they get mad at how people talk about their racism. They don't address it, right? Because they wouldn't want. They allow it in their fan base because they profit off of it. They foster that. They would never want to alienate the Nazis. and that's what happened in that case, right? They signed an open letter that was pointing out all this crazy amount of racism and sexism and anti-LGBT stuff that was going on, and then the other people turned it around and was like, "Oh, you're coming after my livelihood," and they're like, "No, we're saying you shouldn't monetize like blatant racism.
Yeah,
like if you're not doing that, then it won't affect you." No, they're coming after my livelihood. You're like, no, that's not what we're doing at all. No one's saying that. It's weird.
Yeah, the same thing happened with Stupendous Wave when they collaborated. He was like, "Notice me, senpai," and I just kind of lost it.
But who is awesome is Lord Dagavir and
the Dark Temple.
Yes.
How's it going,
Starlight
man?
Pod with good old Sheev and Connor.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for always having me on and tolerating me, guys. I appreciate you. The Dyad.
Tolerate. We allow.
Hey,
Yeah,
just kidding.
welcome.
Yeah, wow. Hey, I know we gotta allow these Anakin Skywalker boys in here, okay? Right. I know I'm wearing my Nyla shirt. I know it's all coming.
That's one thing I wanted to talk to you about during our lore segment, and I think you saw my recent comment on your Mace Windu video.
Ready up, always.
But yeah, I have heard of Star Wars Meg. I have heard of Retini's Holocron as well.
Retini's Holocron is awesome. Retini started on TikTok, and it's funny. He and I used to sometimes get into. Well, no, we didn't get into it, but he put something up, and then I'd message him and be like, "Hey, bro, here's this," and I'd like send him stuff like, "Sorry, that's not correct."
Well, it's funny that you say that, because caveat to that, the Cortosis video we reacted to was Retini's.
Oh, I didn't know that was Retini's. Okay.
Oh, was it? Oh, brother.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, because the AI, like, he has a very specific voice, you know. Star Wars Meg is interesting. I mean, she's British. We've talked. I think we were friends for a while. I don't know. I haven't spoken in a while. I don't go on
I feel like
Twitter anymore.
I feel like the methodology is neutral, but at the same time, she'll give voice to things that could potentially perpetuate the hate. You know, like just neutral delivery of Star Wars news, and then there will be a video on like a that part plays headline, and she's like, is this something that you should be angry about? Like, you know, it's just something that like she's kind of dipping the toes a little bit into the into the rage bait a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially over the years, I feel like around the time of the Acolyte, that's when I noticed the shift, I would say, in the content.
Yeah.
All right.
And yes, she has never shown her face. We were going to collaborate, and that was like one of the things. She was like do I have to have a camera? I was like, no, that's fine. But yeah, it never ended up working out.
Cub Cost Cantina says, I still get people calling me a fake fan or new fan for liking current stuff. Been watching Star Wars for 30 plus years.
That's insane, bro.
That's kind of like head in the sand, mind blank, head empty kind of take for those kind of peoples, because they don't recognize different opinions. They push for conformity. You know, and just recently on
old
on
stuff, legend stuff, canon stuff. It's all stuff. I like stuff. Give me stuff.
I mean, just
stuff.
Just today, I got a comment about, you know, being a sequel fan, and I'm just like, yeah. I mean, I've been doing this since 2019. Doing YouTube since 2008. Been a fan since 1991. And I'm a new fan. But I can't expect these people to know that kind of history about me, but it's still a problem that you assume so. You know what I mean? You assume that if your opinion disagrees with theirs, or it's not like, like I lost you at The Last Jedi being number 2.
How dare you like the choreography of the Acolyte? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ryan PW in the chat.
Ryan PW, aka Ryan DePauls. I'm just kidding.
Hey, Darius, are we gonna see you in Los Angeles in 2027?
So actually, right now, Element is helping me look for tickets. I am trying. I'm looking for. And if the opportunity arises, that's gonna be a yes. But as of right now, not at the moment. But I would like to go. Jedi Connor has also been influencing me too. But maybe it's time.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, Jedi Connor did come with us to Diacon, and I believe he had a good time.
Yeah, he did. He talks about it a lot. He has to remind me like once a month.
I mean, listen, this was a very special time. And I think I did invite you that first time too. We invited a lot of people. We still had a lot of people come, but yeah, I mean, traveling and accommodations in general is very expensive nowadays.
You know, I know. I don't know. It maybe it's mean, but we had a bunch of friends in our community that instead of coming to DiadCon, they went to another convention on the East Coast. And everything bad happened, and it was a terrible time for everyone. And I'm like, that's what you guys get. You know?
That's the force balancing itself. Equal light, equal dark.
Oh my god, don't get me started, dude. Oh my god, dude.
Eric knows what I'm talking about.
Herod says, Dagavir, I will volunteer as tribute to help you find tickets.
Yeah, Harold's been talking to about that in DMs with me, so I really appreciate you guys. You guys are so cool, man. Like, thank you so much, man, over the years. I feel like it's been since, like, 2019, baby.
Yeah.
Community's been coming in.
And I'm always going to say that, you know, you shout out to when you were with Respawn, you gave us a push.
Yes,
Yeah, hooked us up.
always.
Yeah,
Yeah.
appreciate that.
I'm the Phantom Menace, baby. You know how it is. Yeah.
And I always do think back to Jedi Connor, where I like we became mutuals, and I was like, "Hey, man, read these books." And I started sending him books because that was my theory. I was like, if people are reading books, you can't be a dick if you read, because knowledge is power. And I think it works. That's what inspired the book club to get at the very beginning.
I remember my first interaction with Jedi Connor on TikTok. I stitched one of his videos because he was like commenting on Sam Witwer's like hot take at that time. And then he commented on the video. He's like, no, I want to be friends. I wasn't trying to paint him as like a chud back then, but like, you know how it is. But we're solid now.
Yeah. Hey, no, but let's hear your story. Because you jumped in and started cranking out a lot more videos in the past 2 years, I want to say. Your podcasts have been going for a while. What made you jump into the ring?
So I think it was, honestly, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. I think the biggest thing was probably, getting called a shill because I was excited about Star Wars, and I think that's always been just like the dogma of Star Wars against the world, because now it's a cool thing, but not really to be a Star Wars fan, because, we're all unks in here. So, I always talk about on my stream.
Oh, Gage looks like a baby.
Do I? No way. But Gage, it's the first time I've seen you, big dog. Let's go.
How's it going?
Yeah, man. Gage is always in the dark temple, baby. Let's go.
I do be taking visits. Coming out uncorrupted, though.
Yes, that's so good. I'm so glad no one else is influenced.
They don't need to send Mara Jaden to pull me out.
Someone understands. Thank you so much. Yes. God, dude. I think that game is so ugly looking, but I still love it.
There's somebody working on I think he's only done like 2 levels though. A big remaster of it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that game really needed it. I don't know why they changed that engine, man. Jesus.
We do have to establish though, are you Unk status?
Status?
I don't know what do you mean
Oh,
by
me?
that?
What's your cutoff for Unk?
I don't know. Dagavir said call us all Unks,
well, I mean, in my opinion, I think Unk is any time you wake up and your back hurts. So that's
We're not there yet.
Yeah.
Have you hurt yourself doing something mundane and you like
I would say doing the obi-wan too many times. It's like it's getting
mundane?
there, man.
I don't think so. Nothing mundane.
For fuck's sake. Harith. I remember when you was just a wee lad and now you're 24. God dang.
Yeah.
There's no way 24 is Unk. I feel like you maybe meet the qualification after 30, but like even that's stretching it.
Well, Harith gets called Unk because he looks like Joe Pantoliano.
That's crazy.
No, but a Star Wars Celebration. It was just funny because Harith came out, but he wasn't 21 yet, so he couldn't drink.
Yeah,
which normally isn't a problem. But we went to the karaoke bar that we went to on one of the days. We had to have 2 rooms, a 21 plus room and a youngin room.
Youngling. That was fun though.
That was fun.
I think at the end of the day though, like, oh man, that was kind of rough because also the people under 21 had to leave at like 11, right? Because then that's when all of the rooms became like alcohol.
Ooh, happy late birthday, Cupcos. Congrats on the big 3-5.
Oh yeah.
Cubcos is Unk too. I wasn't at karaoke. I was at Star Wars night in 22. But
doing some mundane and not remembering doing it, that's grand Unk. Yeah. I'm talking about like you sneezed too hard and you threw out your back.
Oh my god, it's so true. Yeah, no, I'm starting to forget planets, bro. That's how bad it is. God.
But why don't we start talking about the T-Mags over here? The Mandalorian and Grogu. And the first thing I want to say to this is stop paying attention to the box office.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, there are some people who are checking it every day.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, we're in a different time now. It's not gonna make the kind of money that movies used to make. And I like to point to Michael has been out for 30 plus days, has only made 300 million. That's Michael Jackson. Are you gonna tell me that, like, Michael Jackson's no longer the king of pop? Like, what's going on? You know? And of course you have your little kid movies that will make $1 billion, because that range of audience is massive.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a family thing about something to do with their kids, that's like one of the things, and that's why you'll have a whole bunch of Minions movies. Although I understand them now. I've always hated the Minions. Like they've just, I enjoyed them in the first of those movies. So I was like, oh yeah, that's cute, whatever. But like, I see them so much, it drives me crazy. And then I saw the Mandalorian and the Grogu, and I was thinking about how much I love the Anzellans, and I'm like, I could watch a movie of just Anzellans.
Yeah.
And I was like, is this what people feel about the Minions?
It's not.
That might be the same thing, you know. So yeah, I know.
Harris says obsession is beating it, quote unquote, and that's the thing that I joined, or not joined. I tuned into the Pod Ones yesterday when they were talking about it, and that's not a point against Mandalorian and Grogu, because Obsession has made 75 million, which means it's made less than Mandalorian and Grogu, but it also means that it's being watched by people who have already watched Mandalorian and Grogu. So it's not like it's not like an either or, right?
It's kind of like when a new video game comes out and people are like, yeah, but the Steam simultaneous charts say that. And you're like, I don't care if other people are playing the same single player game as me. Like, that doesn't mean it's a good game or not. What the hell are we talking about here?
If I'm not wrong, it only beat it on one day as well, and people ran with that like it was, like on a Wednesday too, the day almost no one goes to the movies, so it's kind of anyone's game.
Yeah.
So
yeah, stop talking about the box office. We gave our first impressions last week, so Darius,
we didn't hear your first impressions though, so we'd love to hear them.
You can go first, Daggerbear, if you want.
Yeah, I liked it. I liked it. You know, like I had an issue with the pacing, of course, because I did think that it was a long movie, and then when it became Grogu's movie, it was very Grogu. But the second time I watched it, I did not have an issue with that. You know, I guess that was just because like I wanted Big Daddy Din to do his thing, you know. And he did. And then it was little baby Grogu time to make some money. And the second time around, I was fine. And I actually enjoyed it more. Honestly, I really did. But Jesus, man, I love my boy Rada. Man, I wish they had more Rada in that. Oh, my God, I wanted more Rada. God, I love that boy. I hope we see him again, man. I liked it, man. I'm listening to the track every freaking day, man. Jesus, man, I love that track. I can't stop. Every time I work out, every time the song's not even on, and I'm saying it in my head. It's just Jesus, man. It's so good.
Ludwig, he put his foot in it for sure. Like, man, yeah, he cooked.
Yeah.
How about you, Gage?
I really liked it. I thought it was like I kind of went into it wanting just a little fun adventure thing, and that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Partway through, I started to really wonder. I was like, oh, are they going to mention anything in the Mandoverse at all in this? Like, you know, they bring the twins and they don't mention Boba Fett. And I realized by the end of it that I don't think that's like a negative at all, because like at the end of the day, it's a movie for people. They don't expect you to have watched 3 seasons of the television show. And I think it does a really good job of basically taking the best bits of Mandalorian and Grogu and showcasing them on screen. You've got like Din being the coolest, like appearing out of the darkness, shooting stormtroopers, and then you've got Grogu with like comic relief. That was my biggest takeaway. I think it's the funniest Star Wars movie by a pretty big margin. Is what I would say.
Yeah. they were pulling laughs out of me in ways where I'm like, I know you're doing this on purpose, but damn it works.
Yeah. Yeah.
I and you said something that I really like about thinking like wanting to get a mention of Boba Fett, but not having it is not a detraction, right?
Exactly.
And so that's what I kind of think we should all do. Like, there are things that can add to it, but not having it there doesn't detract from. There's no minus points for that. And then there are certain things that you get minus points. It's your wants versus your needs.
Yeah, it is largely that kind of movie too. Like, some of the complaints that I was seeing for it was about its stakes, about how small it is in comparison to other Star Wars movies. And I mean, that's a valid criticism to have. That's something that you want to see, but I mean, that's not what the Mandalorian and Grogu set out to do, right? It was, I mean, the movie is called The Mandalorian and Grogu. It's not called The Fight for the Galaxy.
Yes, exactly. Or The Mandalorian itself. Yes.
Yeah. And so,
I also
go ahead.
You go ahead. I was going to say, I think we missed out on this. These type of movies would have kept coming out, I think, if Solo hadn't done badly at the box office and they switched to shows. Like, we would have been getting more of these low stakes, pick a character, do a little adventure with them movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and then we also do have to remember there are other things at play here, right? I mean, we did have a big old massive writer's strike, like in the middle of when they would be making, a season 4 and some other things, and there are other things that are constantly happening that change the landscape of what we can and do get. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed it, and I've spoken to people who hate it, and the funny thing is, we have the same critiques on it. We just weigh them very differently. Is what I've found. Because there's a lot of stuff, but again, to me, it's like pizza. You can get it from Costco. You can get it from,
The place we went
like
to.
it's good. It's good.
And that's largely the case, like, across the fandom in general. And despite what most people will choose to focus their conversation on, at the end of the day, they do, like, the bottom line is, like, it was fun. And I think that's all that matters too, because we really don't need, like, movies or Star Wars movies whenever they come out to paint such a grim picture of the galaxy, because then what the fuck was the point of Anakin, right? Like, we start to question every single time
people get mad.
Yeah, every time the galaxy is threatened, someone's like, well, this cheapens Anakin's prophecy because, like, he was supposed to balance the galaxy. And so, like, we're allowed to have these small stakes conflicts happening, between the remnants and between the New Republic and Mandalorian and Grogu. So, having these, like, small adventures, small stakes stories is good sometimes. And I don't know who I heard it from, but someone was talking about how Star Wars is a buffet, right? But there's, like, something for everyone, and you just you're in the line and you're picking and choosing what you want to take back to the table.
Yeah, that's what Connor and I was.
I don't know who
about.
you said that, but who got that from? But I've said that 100,000 times.
Yeah, but it's true. It's extremely accurate, though. Yeah.
I guess I got it from Choco. But I am seeing. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, when we kind of break it apart, because I feel like we got, like. Okay, first let's hit we had the intro, right? The cold open, literally the cold open. We got Mando versus 3 walkers. That was hype, right?
100%.
Were people complaining about this?
Yes, I remember there was someone on Twitter who tried to get into it with me about it, where they were saying, "Oh, why didn't the rebels do this on Hoth? Like, send someone in, throw 3 bombs on their legs, and they would have won."
They did.
And I was like, yeah, they took a couple of them down. And also, I don't think the rebels' strategy is, hey, there's an open field there, you should run at those things, you know. So it's like
you have to get up close enough to start that whole process. No, that's just that
it's
is,
so funny how like those criticisms come from people who have really the most odd takes of how to like execute warfare. Because that's a great point too. Like on Hoth, it's just a huge plain of snow.
Yeah.
You want to send in people with like small arm speeders to approach walkers, you know, the same way the Mandalorian does on a tight, narrow cliff. This just isn't the same. Why didn't you use the Holden maneuver on the Death Star? Because you saw a Star Destroyer crash into the Death Star, and it did nothing.
And you know those things like don't miss. There's that shot where Veers is like, go to this angle, and the thing is just like, bam, start like snowspeeder out of the sky.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing though too. Is
across the field, like,
that's the thing though too. Is most of these guys piloting these things are freaking bench riders, guys. Like, like all best guys are gone, or they turn cloaked and went to the New Republic. Hello, you know, like why are you so freaking shook about Mando's freaking low diffing 3 nobodies that we've never heard of before outside of like a few mentions in the Mandalorian? I mean, like, come on, guys.
Also, they say it they address it in the movie too. Because as he boards it, the guy's like, "Go stop him!" And he's like, "We're just pilots, dude. We don't know how to fight."
What are you talking about?
They also
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
I feel like they also address it with their equipment, where the snow troopers, a lot of them don't even have their little guard,
little flask, whatever it is. Yeah,
No,
I don't know, man. That was such a good part. I love the part where he's inside the AT-AT and the music starts to go off the tone of that. Dude, I think that is one of the sickest shots because it's one whole camera that's peering back the entire time. Even when it shuts the AT-AT door, it turns around on the pilot that's watching everything. I think that's actually a very underappreciated scene. I freaking love that scene.
It was a great shot.
Yeah.
We forgot about beforehand too, the like Mando going through the hallways in the base, and then Grogu messing with the mouse droid and stuff. I think it's a perfect like intro to both their characters for what they're doing in the movie.
Yeah, both my theaters clapped for Grogu when he did a front flip in front and showed up in the first part of the movie.
The way he jumps out and lands like, ta-da!
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's my movie, guys.
I think our whole theater was
just
eating it up.
Underappreciated is he walks in this, you know what I mean? Like in the old episodes he would just like crumple like a weird paper bag and then when like fly through the air.
That season 3 criticism very harshly. They went ham in this movie.
Now I will say I felt like there was too much action, which sounds weird, but like the movie felt long. I felt like you could like do like 20% less on them. Not that I have a problem with watching Mando be a badass. And also just using like his flamethrower usage. I don't know why other people don't use flamethrowers more, but it's sick and I like it. It makes me happy.
They haven't had the screen time, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's why. Yeah.
Also, the way Grogu moves in this movie, and I said this to Choco during when we saw it, like it adds this very Dark Crystal puppetry charm to it. Like, right, you would get your blend of CG and practical effects, but seeing a Grogu walk and run like that and jump using all of those puppetry techniques is like just adds to the practicality of what you're seeing as well.
The puppetry was amazing in this, I thought.
Eaton Black says the whole intro is great. I loved when Mando first walks in like an absolute Terminator king. Horrifying.
Yeah, that was sick. Yeah.
I love the council meeting too before that, with the Imperial being like, I need more money, and they're all just like, what do you mean? Like, we're already starving. Like, it shows that, like, the Imperials, even after they've lost the galaxy, still think it should be the way it was, and they just don't learn.
Yeah.
And even after he blasts one of them, when Mando's coming, he hands out guns to everyone else.
Lay down cover fire. Yeah, sure, buddy. I'm putting my PTO in.
I did like that part too, because Din like turns around to them and they're like, and he's like, "That's right."
Don't they point in the elevator? They're like,
the one lady
yeah, like,
Yeah.
that's funny.
That was some good stuff, dude.
The puppetry kind of reminded me of how the Muppets were puppeteered, and I mean that as a good thing. That's what I mean, like the general charm of the puppetry. And I recently got back into Dark Crystal too, and so like just having that be there was just added to the overall experience of the movie.
Yeah.
Puppets over full CG forever.
Yeah, I mean, I think depending on the puppet, I think it's sometimes just better to do the pure puppet than to try and do CG.
Yeah, I mean, it's you can kind of tell when people have like. I mean, it's hard to correctly do interactions with your CG character because it's just you move different when something has weight to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know in Revenge of the Sith when the Wookiee picked up Yoda, he like picked up like a bag of rice or something like that and threw it over his shoulder to make it like make his actions be similar. But yeah, it's hard to do that. But also there's also just a Star Wars charm to it. You know what I mean? That is hard to they can do it because we have seen like the blurgs, for instance, move using they're made of CG, but they mimic stop motion in their movements, so it feels the same as the rest of Star Wars. But yeah,
Gattori was a puppet. I feel like you could tell. I feel like you could tell like easily. And for those who don't know, Gattori was the old guy, the fisherman.
Yeah. Which everyone was trying to convince me was Yoda's master.
Listen, we have our speculations, and we're wrong most of the time.
I think
he was just a big ass otter. You
would have to like torture Dave for weeks to get some kind of Yoda, any elaboration. They're very much just like George didn't allow it. We don't.
Harris said, "I wonder who started that rumor." The very fact that he looks like Nkata. Okay. I even turned to Choco during the movie. It's like, I think we're like just wrong entirely about this whole movie.
We were wrong a lot about this.
Yeah,
movie.
I remember. I think like 2 months ago, you guys were like, "I bet Thrawn's mentioned or put in this," and I was like, "I don't think that's gonna fly at all."
Yeah, but that one makes sense.
Yeah,
that one does. That one does make sense
and everything. But I was so on the money about Rada being a Brotron, bro. I was like, man, please.
When this releases on Disney Plus, get ready for the thirst traps,
dude.
That does kind of bring us to the next part, the Shikari. Top one of the best Star Wars soundtracks we've had in recent years, I think.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, the vibe of doing like Prohibition era Chicago, but it's salt that's a valuable thing, which historically salt was more valuable than gold in most places around the world. I like the idea. They threw a lot of cool stuff in with that planet,
But it also
it reminds me of how like Tatooine, you learn they have people who just farm for water, like in A New Hope immediately. It's like, here's what's going on in this place that's different than everywhere else.
I have Republic Dictaries. That won't. What does Watto say?
No, it won't die.
No, but I like
no
that.
Good out here.
It won't.
I also liked that specific economic outlook matches the time period as well, because there's a certain amount of aftershock when it comes to like political upheaval with the destruction of the Empire and the establishment of the New Republic, like whose currency, do you accept? Like we saw that in season 1 where, here's a Mon Calamari flan, here's an Imperial credit, like what do you accept as payment? And then like, fast forward to where we are with this movie, seemingly Martin Scorsese's character, the Ardinian, forget his name, was like, whoa, you got a New Republic credit. Like it's like it's on the up and up, but it's still this planet largely depends on the value of their salt trade.
Yeah, he was Hugo Durant.
So he's
and so people are speculating. Okay, well maybe like. Yeah, maybe he's his dad, and that's why he was like trying to lay extra low. He's just like, I lost my son to like all this crazy stuff or whatever.
It's funny. I also just love that like anytime this might be a negative as well. It might be a positive and a negative. Anytime they need to like create a nightscape of a city, it always looks like Dayu.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is always like, just put in Nar Shaddaa, please. Like,
yeah,
please.
What is their
get
aversion
it
to
one
Nar
day.
Shaddaa?
They don't want to, but it's like they don't want to. Now Hada's right there. Like now Hada was right there, and Nar Shaddaa is like, it's like right there. Let's make a left.
I do wonder if it's ever been pitched and somebody just threw out the like that'll look too much like Coruscant. I wonder if that's a caveat for them, but I feel like you can make it pretty different.
And there also is a thing for Lucasfilm not wanting them to taint like certain popular locations. You know what I mean? Like the entire, remember J.J. Abrams, the reason that it's the Hazian system, he wanted it to be Coruscant. And then they're like, you're going to blow it up. And he's like, yeah, let's blow up Coruscant. And they're like, no, we can't do that.
Same thing how Death Star wreckage in 9 is not on Endor. It's on a different moon in the same system. Like, yeah.
But I think Nar Shaddaa, would at this point be like a nest for all of the syndicates, right? And I think they were just focused on hut space, right?
That's true.
Yeah, and also I don't know, just from a storytelling perspective, if you had an Imperial warlord that's hiding out, it would need to be at a less obvious place, potentially.
It probably allows him more control too, being on a planet where he can operate freely without having to worry about like with the huts, like because the huts would probably not want Imperials moving in on their stuff.
Yeah, because we got some of this.
I was thinking from a creative standpoint of being like, I want to make a city look how I want, and I don't want to be, beholden to it. And then also you'd have idiots like me being like, well, where's Gracchus? Where's his stupid little robot legs?
Where's
what's
Big
going
Mama?
on here?
And that's the thing too. Like a lot of people are saying that the huts are finished.
I assume Big Mama died of heart disease a while ago.
But there's still a lot of There's still a lot of clans out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they took a big hit,
but we got some of this in Maul Shadowlord too, because the same kind of narrative picture is painted on Janix, right? It's largely kind of this lawless. Lawson is a lawman, but it's kind of lawless in the fact that like there's several gangsters vying for power and control over this place, and it's largely like an out of the way planet that people don't really like congregate on. And I feel like Nar Shaddaa would be just like I said, like a hornet's nest of just bad actors, and I don't think any Imperial remnant would be successful in controlling that planet.
Damn it, I wish I hadn't read that.
I read it too.
missed opportunity though is I would have loved if they put Cara Dune in the film, and she could have been the first person that Rada was fighting. So that would just make me laugh.
I guess that is her old profession, right? Before acting.
It fits. It fits. No, but as soon as we come into that and we see how Hutts move, because like, it's one of those things where
coil around each other.
You read about it in books, or you go on Wikipedia and you read that Hutts are extremely powerful and they're dangerous creatures, and then you're looking at them and you look at Jabba in Return of the Jedi and you're like, I don't think he can move. Are you sure?
Yeah.
You look at the twins being like rolled in on the hover skiff, and you're like, are they really that? Yes, if you made a Hutt mad and it tried to fight you, you're not 1v1ing a Hutt. You know what I mean? Not in a hand-to-hand combat. You know, and doing their barrel rolls and stuff to move over and dodge was just really cool.
I mean, I think we got some of that with Gracchus, right? Like the first time we saw Gracchus, or the first time we saw, I forget the name of the Hutt that worked
Boku?
with. Was that her? The one that worked with the High Republic Jedi to
Oh no,
kill the progenitor?
Boku is the buff Hutt with blue eyes and
Let me see
in the comics.
I thought you said the butt Hutt.
No, that's where I work after dark.
The butt Hutt? Nice.
It's like Pizza Hut, but different.
Stuffed, gross.
Miarga, was that?
Yeah,
High Republic one?
yeah, Miarga.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the one that with the rancors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're dangerous species, man.
Yeah, no, they were some of the best warriors too, man. Started the first wars. They were crazy, dude.
Rada is like a mediocre fighting game player who only spams one move. I mean, I think his super is the one where he just kind of like is
Lays on
that
you?
considered sitting on someone?
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's-
Rada is like a Zangief main, and you're like,
he's just grappling.
you can fight him, and you're like, you're doing all this technical stuff, and you're like hitting him, and you're like, he just won't stop, and then he hits you 3 times, and you die, and you're like, come on.
Yeah, Rada is a large part of one of my favorite things about the movie as well, including the Grogu
Rada's a
portion.
King K. Rule main.
Oh, true.
funny.
Do you
My little
think?
brother plays him. It's irritating.
Do you think that should the time come that Grogu does win or achieve total independence and Din is too old for this, it becomes Rada and Grogu?
I think it should be Rada and Grogu and Mendo tomorrow.
I think that could happen. I think that they laid that groundwork. It's just I just don't think they know what they want to do with that future timeline yet, with like all the moving pieces of a new trilogy and like if the Rey movie's happening or not, if they re-green light the Hunt for Ben Solo. I just think they put that groundwork down to be like, oh, now there's someone who can hang out with Grogu after Din.
Yeah.
I mean, apparently, did you hear the rumors about Starfighter?
That the kid is getting taken to Rey's order. That one?
Yeah, that's what the
Yeah.
movie is he's taking the kid to join Rey's school.
I'll say it. Perfect way to go. Here's our segue into either a Rey movie or a new trilogy. Is like
Yeah.
reintroduce everyone to post Episode 9 with a story that seems kind of inconsequential, and then have right at the end tie it into everything.
That makes so much sense, dude. Because by that time, Grogu's a teenager, like in his years. I can't imagine him being like.
Grogu should be full grown by then. I mean, because it's a rapid aging process.
He's
yeah,
like a
so
Pokemon. He
by that
evolves,
time
yeah.
you'd be like, what, 80, 85?
Yeah.
He'd be close to like.
That's right.
You know,
Around when Yoda said he started "quote unquote" training Jedi, at least.
that makes me think of like the first time I saw like the adolescent Groot. You know, like picturing Ray being like, "You need to concentrate, Grogu," and then Grogu's like, "No, you need to concentrate." It makes total sense.
Insane. I'm gonna call your father.
Okay, but now what this movie makes me want is give me a reverse Project Luminous now. Just take us 300 years into the future. And start making stuff, and you know, the Mandos are ruled. Well, the Mandos are ruled by Grogu, and Rada rules the Hutts, but in a positive way, where like he has stepped into the role, but like he's actually like making things better, you know, and then we play around in that space with what the future looks like.
I just thought
that would be cool.
I just thought the Hutt Republic, but like, it just reminds me of Banana Republic.
I'd watch it.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was talking about on my streaming podcast too. I was like, dude, I think it's the perfect opportunity for Rada to take the helm, and I don't really like the criticism that nothing happened in this movie, because I just feel like, bro, like the Hutt's dying is like actually pretty huge, bro. Like that Hutt space and empire has been there for thousands of years. Rada's sitting there with this air that everybody's afraid of. I'm just like, buddy, the New Republic? Are you sure about that? I don't think people are gonna like you. You know? Like, you might as well just run these horns, dude, with this freaking syndicate and go ham, make it yours. And Grogu's right there. I don't know. I love that. I really love that story. And I think that they just can stay in that lane and go there. I don't think they need to connect to anything like, you know, the new Rey movie or whatever, or anything post that. I just think there's a good story here. Just keep doing what you did in like season 1 and season 2. And I think the movie was kind of like a soft reboot. You know, just go in that direction. Don't let me not see Rada for another 20 years. You know,
I don't like. It's me when it comes to like film criticism. I'm always confused with how. Like I watched John Wick, right? The stakes weren't very high.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's does he avenge his dog or not? It's not like the end of a criminal empire or.
Yeah,
the stakes aren't super high. He didn't have a big growth arc, did he?
No, but I also think that when you have the title of Star Wars, it's gonna have a certain type of, you know.
Sure, but that's what I mean is like. That's why I don't know. I don't have the answer to it. But in my mind, that's not required for it to be a good movie. Maybe you're expecting, maybe that changes your expectations, but does not. So for me, not getting that doesn't count as a minus to the movie. If I got it, it would be a plus, but it doesn't count as a minus. Is kind of what I mean.
It's certainly not a minus for Solo. There was practically no stakes. It was literally a heist. It really meant nothing to the galaxy, like in the grand scheme of things, you know. But like we keep on saying with Mandalorian and Grogu, it's all about the interpersonal relationships in this movie. Same with Han, you know. We see him get the Falcon, win the Falcon, go on a heist, and you know, his interpersonal relationship with Lando and with Kira are like the kind of focus of the movie, and with Tobias Beckett.
Yeah.
You also see Grogu exert a large amount of independence compared to what we've seen before. I think the closest we've seen to him being on his own is him running to Bo in season 3 and being like, "Hey, you need to help." But this one, he fully got to do something on his own. Like he's the one who actually helps Dan.
Yeah, which is another criticism I just could not understand, where everyone's talking about how there was no character arc, where Grogu literally, like, this was a coming of age story for him, and he didn't faint any time he used the Force, and he was the only help that he ever had was just for transportation. And then the movie ends with his dad teaching him how to drive. I don't know if we're watching the same movie.
Well, it's because we've seen a whole bunch of different times where Mando has taught him something, or Luke taught him something.
Yeah.
And in this, he does all of those things himself, and he puts them together in a way that saves him, you know? And I mean, that whole middle part was my favorite part of the film. That was my bread and butter. Was Grogu's big day out, and I don't know, he was just so cute. The moment when Grogu and the Anzellans and Mando run up to the ship and then sees what they drove in, and there's a brief moment where he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna die." I'm gonna die here. All right.
I think Din forgot. I think Din runs into that thing a lot. Is he forgets how young Grogu is a lot of the time. Like when he's trying to tell him to start the ship, and Zeb is like, my guy. He does not know what's going on in there. Like he's just hitting the shiniest button he sees.
God. No, it was.
And Stinky's like, not only have I never driven one, I don't even fit.
I don't fit in the cockpit. But...
It definitely was my favorite part of the movie, along with Rada. Like, Kumkasa said, I do like that building mud huts is something hardwired into Yoda and Grogu. Just something, we speculated on this movie going into it, thinking that Grogu's journey with the Force would largely be something independent of the Jedi, where he would, he already made his choice, so he needs to learn somehow. And I thought that he was inheriting his Geimer stick. I thought, that he was in Dagobah, but I'll accept that he also built a mud hut in the same way Yoda did. But I love that at the end of the movie, Grogu's no longer riding on Din's shoulder. And that's a big visual indicator of growth as well, because Grogu can't really articulate himself. And so you have in the beginning, he's always riding on his shoulder, and Din's always saying heel. And then as soon as he goes through this sequence of events that sees him taking care of the old, as is part of the message of this movie, Din's like, yeah, okay, you can take care of yourself,
Yeah, it's like the next evolution of the character, because before he was baby that would die if you didn't constantly take care of it, right? And in this film, what we got in season 3 of The Mandalorian was basically Grogu becoming like Nyx, like they are an extension of you, but they're not independent, and they will die on their own still.
Yeah.
But like Grogu rides on a shoulder, just like BB-8. They roll up to the hut complex, and he's like, all right, go in there and open the door, just like you tell Nyx to do and Outlaws. But then by the end of it, he's able to do his own separate thing and play with puppies and stuff.
Yeah.
By the way, my boy Embo was perfect.
Oh, he's a highlight. He's always been my favorite bounty hunter, and he is just the highlight of the movie. Like every scene, you're just like, oh, he's so cool, and he loves animals, and he's a good dog owner.
Yep. He falls through the ceiling and immediately is shielding himself with the hat, just like and then he drives a ship shaped like his hat. It's everything.
I gotta say though, after seeing him in action, live action, how is anybody a better bounty hunter than Embo?
No one is. He just doesn't like to do stuff.
It depends. Well, it depends on what where you say you're better at being a bounty hunter. I think in the box arc, when they bring him in, they say this guy has collected the most bounties in the last year cycle. So he is number one on the leaderboard with numbers, but people think Cad Bane could probably.
I guess I suppose in the zeitgeist of fandom, right?
Recently.
Within the zeitgeist of fandom, people point to Boba as the bounty hunter.
Boba's great too, but
so the characters I love just in anything are the people who they have the skill, but they're too introverted to want to deal with stuff.
That's true.
That's just kind of my bread and butter in general, I love Itachi, who's I'm just gonna go lie down or whatever.
I don't know if I
Izawa-
could call Embo the best when both Boba and Cad Bane are like out for season. You know,
Like what?
No, but that's what I'm saying. At this point in time, Cad Bane is dead, and Boba is a warlord.
is that really confirmed though? Do we know he's dead?
Like,
If
as
he's
far
not
as we're
dead,
concerned, you know what I mean?
I'm just saying he's probably not doing a whole lot.
No, that's what I'm saying. They're out for
back
season, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, they're not in the league right now.
yeah.
I don't know. Like
we'll have to wait till
use
next
like
season, and we'll see how they play. You know.
Yeah, that's exactly how I'm seeing it. It's like Buddy's first because these people aren't here right now.
I mean, Boba Fett gets a free off week. The twins are gone. Like, he doesn't have to worry about that anymore.
it is the same as saying Vader is the strongest because ain't nobody else around.
Sure.
I don't know. I think
So,
like
Embo. I was on ATG, and someone in a comment said Embo is the Tim Duncan of the bounty hunter world. You know, he's quiet, he's mild mannered, he shows up, he's got the good fundamentals. You know.
and when you need him to, he'll make that bank shot.
Yep. But it's not about the flash; it's about the effect.
That's true.
Mike.
That's true.
He also, I give him credit as a bounty hunter. He's in it for he's official. The Hutts were like, save us. And he was like, that's not, you didn't pay for that. Bails on him, you know?
It ain't on the invoice, buddy.
Yeah. He's strict to his
That
contract.
comes with the
He doesn't
deluxe
go further.
package.
Yeah.
He goes, my dog can't swim. We're gonna head out.
Yeah, that was insane. That was actually crazy part, dude. I was like, damn, I thought this was a kid's movie.
Oh, the Hutts being left to get eaten by a giant snake.
Oh, they got it. They showed everything. And that dragon snake had lumps in it and everything, dude. I was like, damn, bro.
What's funny is that we
That
talked.
dragon snake looked amazing.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
What's funny is that we just talked about a whole bunch of things that happened in this movie.
That's true. We were going in order at first, and then we've now jumped.
Which is fine. We just let it flow. I
don't know if we even missed, or I guess we missed the raid on Quinn's compound a little bit, but that was just Zeb being cool.
Yeah. I didn't really take too much from that one, honestly, because like the movie was so filled with action and it was kind of like a roller coaster ride. It was just kind of par for the course. And I knew Coin wasn't like the big bad, right?
Yeah.
It was just a
Yeah.
foil.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I did like the Jajaric match a lot. I liked the freaking Kalorv slug from Korriban, baby. All that Old Republic-ish in the chat. Let's go. I was so hyped about that. Looked silly in the theater. But
There was just a lot of deep cuts. They just start stacking in there. All of the creatures were a lot more, or some of them were a lot smarter than I thought they would be.
Yeah.
Most of them I thought would just be like animals, but some of them were like, nah, dog.
Yeah. You got to think
worst
there's got to be
thinking.
a couple like Rodas in there. They just don't speak
Yeah.
basic.
yeah.
What's funny is that entire match was the New Hope to Jark match.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
like
what I
they
liked about
said
that.
that
I
like it was
liked that so much.
like it's just a joke, but it was like, no, it's literally it's just
The arena was checkered like a Dejarik board,
Yes, that was so cool.
and
Yeah.
a lot of the initial moves that the creatures made were moves that I forget who's playing Dejarik in A New Hope. I think it's Chewbacca and
Chewie
Yes,
and
Chewie.
R2 and
3PO, right?
it's
yeah,
R2 in
a lot of
Chewie.
those
That's
moves
it,
were
yeah.
recreated from
C-3PO
that
warns him
match,
not to win.
and then it went into the Savrip's body slam.
Yeah, the body slam. Yes,
I was like, dang, we just watched The New
Yeah.
Hope and like.
I loved it, dude. I loved it. I don't know.
But those are the smart kind of like references. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know,
Like if they were being dumb about it, Vader would have showed up, and he's dead. Can you imagine? He just shows up, has a hallway scene in Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yeah, or C-3PO's there narrating it or something. Yeah.
Vada, tomorrow night it's a hallway match. You can't win. And a hologram of Vader pops up.
Now I will say, probably the weakest thing for me in this, and I hate to say it because it's unfortunate, the weakest thing in the movie was Sigourney Weaver's character.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I also think that not every big name actress or actor put in Star Wars needs to play the next gigantic character. I think she served her role fine. She just wasn't like anything special, if that makes sense.
So I just thought they would have more screen time with her, man. I mean, like, that's Sigourney freaking Weaver, bro. What are you talking about? She's killed the most xenomorphs in the whole galaxy. Why is she not doing more stuff?
Well, here's the thing, like even putting Ward in an X-Wing felt a little kind of phoned in. You know what I mean? Like, you had the others in their cockpits and they were doing the whole simulation thing, the rig simulation. But like, it just felt like while people were having dogfights, Sigourney Weaver's like, "Are you okay, Den?" And it's just flying straight, no bumps, and I feel like it was phoned in, honestly.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the my complaints that I did bring up yesterday as well, that their acting in the ships was a bit wooden. That being said, like the droid gotcha like just launched and they weren't doing much. You know what I mean? Like this was not. Yeah. They weren't breaking a sweat in this dogfight. You know what I mean? Like,
well, isn't it? There's that.
So there's like, they're on my tail. Okay, got him.
Like, yeah, there's that interview with Dave for his cameo in season 1, where he's like, "Yeah, all these New Republic pilots are bored because like they're used, they fought through a war where you're going up against like the Imperial's best and TIE fighters and stuff, and now it's just like, oh, here's some guys doing a crime. Let's take them out. All right, we're done." Like, it's very like they're bored. They don't have much to do.
Yeah, they already beat Legendary. Now it's just easy mode.
Yeah.
New Game Plus.
All right, so when Dave Filoni showed up for 4 seconds, whose theater cheered and whose theater was like, all right?
My theater cheered.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really interesting.
I amongst them.
Interesting.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I kind of just like, I was like, oh, brother, like I know he's there. Everybody's there. They show Rick, they show Deborah Chow, they show Dick Chang, they show everybody, bro.
Yeah.
Rick has a bunch of shots at the end of the scene there when they're blowing up freaking Nal Hutta.
I feel like their shots made sense though. They were kind of like backdrop to a hero shot, but then like Dave had this one where he's just like,
it was like a
Dave
cut to
yeah,
Dave.
the one that cut to
like
Dave was not as organic as the pilot.
No,
the X-Wing.
Like the people I was with, the second they just laughed, like, and I just like, yeah, that's him. That's Dave,
I do love though. Din Djarin is just being a himbo. And he's just like, he catches the warlord and just takes him to the base and walks him into the front door while everyone's eating. And he's like, "Here's the guy," and you're like, "Oh, okay."
I turned to Choco and I was like, "Oh, Dave, seriously?" I feel like it lingered for like 3 seconds too long. You know what I mean? Like if it was a tracking shot and he was just like there. But
wasn't it? I think season 3 they did it in the bar where it was like you follow the person into the bar and you see Dave chilling there, mainly because of the hat, but you don't focus on it.
Yeah, we were just talking about the Attack of the Clones scene with Ahmad Best and Anthony Daniels the other day. Element on my
and I
stream.
think
yeah.
Lucas's daughter is in one too with Ahmad Best, where they linger on her for quite a bit.
Yeah.
Of course, Revenge of the Sith. I know the whole Plagueis scene too has like editors and people and artists that were part of the production of Revenge of the Sith too. But I just felt like that was just so like on the nose because we've already seen it too in season 3. So I was just like, oh brother, like they haven't left. They literally have not left the Delphi base since season 3, and they're just like chilling there waiting for this cameo.
I mean, ultimately, it wasn't like a negative for the movie. You know what I mean? It was
no.
It was just
it was like if you know, you know.
I was gonna say I also think 90% of general audience do not.
They have no idea. No idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he got like a little famous after that Mando behind the scenes doc where he talked about Phantom Menace, and then suddenly people were like, "This guy knows all." And then, but like, the average Star Wars fan probably isn't watching behind the scenes of anything.
And Eaton Black in the chat also says like it's like the general sentiment. I was grinning for the whole movie, even when I saw Dave Filoni, and I was like, you know, kind of musing to Choco. I was smiling. I was enjoying. I was still having fun with it. I was like, come on, Dave, you know. So I mean, there's a lot of things in this movie that, you know, is tongue in cheek, but it's a solid ride. It's something that you have fun in, and sometimes that's what we need, especially after what close to 10 years.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that's going to get people back into the theaters, and then we have Starfighter in the works, and then the next thing is New Jedi Order, and I feel like those stakes are going to build as we, you know, reacclimate with theater experiences, because there's one thing that I was right on with my speculation that probably everybody was right on, is that this is a smaller part of a larger narrative, right? It still has to deal with the remnant and the warlords and everything, and so like the fall of the Hutts and the fall of Coin will reverberate narratively to the Shadow Council.
The rise of,
if I remember right, the two warlords in this were in the Shadow Council scene. So like that's a pretty
Yeah,
big hit.
yeah,
Because there were only like 6 people in that scene, maybe less. So that's a pretty big hit for them.
but also like these two, the Hutt twins being taken down, and you know Boba Fett doing what he's doing on Tatooine. This all lends itself to the rise of like Rin Riven Dai, who takes over in Hutt space. You know, so like it all still fits as part of this bigger narrative. But at the end of the day, you know, it was a couple years ago now, that I was talking to someone, and I don't know, it was like that they were like a real fan because they've read a lot of books and stuff, and then but like I have also met someone who she cries every time she watches Attack of the Clones, and I'm like,
That's a movie.
That's a real fan. It's a slightly different film. Yeah, no, but like to me that's the actual question. It's not how many books have you read, how much lore is in this film. It's what did you feel? It's what did you connect with?
Yeah.
You know?
Sharpshot says, do we know what George Lucas thinks of this latest movie? I mean, I remember seeing behind the scenes shots of him on set during the Mandalorian filming, and he's nothing but giddy meeting Grogu for the first time. He's like, this is awesome. And honestly, from his position, and I can only speculate, I can't speak for George, but from his position, I would imagine it's just fun and games. You know, you bring him in for the dog and pony show, or is that the right terminology? You bring him in for I'm just going to call it the dog and pony show, and he's going around set. He's meeting Ahsoka in live action. He's meeting Grogu for the first time, and I wouldn't go around being all like Mr. Grumpy, you know? It's like, oh, this is cool. You know?
Well, it's like your kids grow up and have kids of their own, and then he's meeting his grandkids, you know? Like that's got to be cool, you know? He says, I think he's still counting the money that he got from Disney. I mean, more than that, like people forget the $4 billion, only half of it was cash. Half of it was Disney stock, making him the largest share owner. So he made way more money off of the stock that he has in Disney than he did off of what they paid him. Not to mention his wife is rich as balls. Like she's actually amazing in the financial world.
Yeah. Aaron Z says, one thing to point out is that while a lot of people say that the sequel trilogy is disrespectful to Lucas, the trilogy used a lot of his story ideas, and Lucas himself even said that he liked The Last Jedi.
So it was beautifully made, yeah.
Yeah, he said it was made. I don't know what that means.
Now,
That's a
whether or not
very
he likes
neutral
it
answer.
is
But that's the only movie he
doesn't-
commented on.
I think he said Gareth got a call from Rogue One, and George said he liked it to Gareth. He said that it was like the moment that made his career. Like he all his doubts about whether he should have made Rogue One were erased by that phone call.
Yeah. Lucas cares more about his museum at the moment. Yeah, and so largely he has moved on from it. He didn't want to put Star Wars in his museum at all. They had to make him do it because he wanted to, you know. But at the same time, he did, you know, show up to the shareholders meeting and say that he believed in the vision for Star Wars and for Disney, and you know, to vote his shares for what is happening there. So yeah, I mean, I feel like people try to put a lot of words in his mouth towards his feelings, which is strange. All I can tell you is that he's a big leftist hippie who just happened to get super rich. That's the most I could tell you.
Yeah, I think that is the most disrespectful thing to George Lucas, is to pretend that you can speak for him and his feelings on the matter.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, whenever we cover Star Wars, it's always like, what do we think about it? Like, I'm not worried about what George Lucas thinks about it. He can have his own opinion, and it would be, like I said, disrespectful to think that we can say what he thinks about it. But
now I will speculate on things that I think George Lucas would love, but yeah, I won't tell you definitively that he loves it. But when I saw the mods in Book of Boba Fett, I was like, this feels very George. Like, I can feel him smiling down on us from his mansion.
But Darius, you have a hard out?
Maybe. I do.
Do you wanna give your final thoughts and plugs?
Yeah, you know, that's like I always preach, you know, just enjoy it, guys. You know, I think we've all been around since the prequels, and I feel like most of the hate that's going on right now is just regurgitated, just kind of the same stuff. So just focus on what you like more than what everybody else is talking shit about online, because I tell you one thing, man, I have never seen so many positive Reddit posts on the official Star Wars Reddit post ever since this movie released. It's all about how much the movie is fun, and they don't understand why people hate this movie. And I think that says a lot about the movie and how fun it was.
What it signals to me is that a lot of people were affected by certain zeitgeists and bandwagons when it came to the sequels and all the other projects. And then, like, when this came out, a lot of those people will be like, what are you guys talking about? Because then, like, they're starting to realize there are some people still trying to hold on to that hate.
Yeah, always. Every day.
But when we have more time, I want to talk to you about Mace Windu.
Yeah. Did I? Well, I mean, I read some stuff, but I mean, I basically agree with you for the most part.
Yeah, but I figured it would be a fun segment.
Oh yeah. Is Anakin, your Anakin staying over here?
So
but
Darius
like
had
the
a
most
video.
reasonable Anakin stan. I want to have. We should do it where we have both of you and Luke from Pod Ones on, because we're both massive Anakin stans.
Yeah, absolutely.
For those who don't know, Darius has a short responding to a comment about Mace Windu and his distrust. And I just commented, it's like, you know, a lot of people talk about, like, the fault of Anakin's fall, whether it be the Jedi or Sidious and Mace not trusting Anakin. Not enough people talk about how that distrust is justified. Like, he's always lying, he's always disobeying orders, and he's always going rogue. So it's not like for no reason Mace is like, this kid's untrustworthy and I have no evidence for that. Like,
yeah, no. He's the problem child of the Jedi Order, guys. Like, he's the problem.
It sucks that it works so much of the time, like him going off orders, and then it ends up working out. If there was even half the amount of mistakes by doing that, everyone would probably be a Mace Windu defender. But they'd be like, yeah, remember that time Anakin blew it in season 2? Or, you know.
Remember that time Anakin Skywalker killed women and children and the Tusken Raiders, like genocide completely. I don't know.
Yeah, he's supposed to be on Naboo.
I just say, listen, go watch Dexter. All right, he's Dokes. Mace Windu is Dokes. He's like, this kid is lying to my face right now. I know it. We all know it, right?
Yeah. Why would that be?
It's all good.
I don't know, man. Like I think yes. In my opinion, yes. I think the Jedi are somewhat responsible, but it pales in comparison to Anakin's stupid ass choices and Darth Sidious. Okay, guys, and I think the hatred that Mace has, I think, needs to be refocused and thrown at Sidious. Okay, because Mace Windu can be an asshole sometimes, but I'm sorry, guys, Anakin Skywalker is the problem child of the Jedi Order, man. Like he's just. I don't know.
And that's why we love him. You know, that's why we love Dennis the Menace. You know, that's why we love like this. That's the thing. We enjoy him for that reason. Yeah,
he's my boy. I'll defend him forever. But I'm gonna call him out when he f's up, and I hate to say it, he f'd up a lot. You know, like I'm as his lawyer, Anakin, you guilty, buddy. You know, it is what it is. You know, but hey, at least you save your son.
And sometimes I feel like
your awesome content in your podcast.
At Lord Daggerware, anywhere on the internet, you'll see my face yelling about something. I have shorts every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And then
I'm wearing shorts
live. Yeah. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, YouTube, Instagram, and what else? TikTok.
Podcasts?
Yeah. So the podcast is, that's my live that I'll do with the Dark Temple, baby. Inside the Dark Temple. Make sure you guys go on there. It's Gage knows every single Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And then there's Starlight Podcast, which is usually Thursday or Friday that we upload. And those are my boys, Daddy Sheevan, Jedi Connor, the Starlight Podcast, hanging out in cool place. Good boys, good guys.
Chat, everyone go follow and subscribe to his channel. Darius, thank you for stopping by.
Yes.
And also in the chat, everybody give him a...
Ready up.
Oh, okay. I was like...
Oh, my gosh.
What do you think I was doing?
A handy? What the hell?
Hey.
His signature.
I'm only doing what Darius does.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, man. Do you guys still play Rivals, by the way? I haven't seen you guys in a while.
I was playing this morning, but for the first time in a year. But
wow.
No, I'll probably play a little bit more. There's some cool costumes that just dropped. So yeah.
Boon Squad.
I've returned to Final Fantasy 14, so that's where my head's at.
Oh, okay. All right, guys.
But yeah, come play with me and Cal sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. I will. I'm always on. So I was playing with Baldy
Cal and
the other
Bale.
day.
We were playing. Yeah.
So. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, guys. I'll see you around. Deuces.
Take it easy.
Okay. Well, the talk about is the last thing I'll say about like Mace Windu, Palpatine, and Anakin. I feel like Palpatine is so much of a caricature of evil that a lot of people fall back on this thing where they go, yeah, of course Palpatine manipulated him, but how about Mace Windu? You know, it's like one of those like conversations where it's like, yeah, of course he's evil, like whatever.
Yeah, I also think everyone is a little too all or nothing with Anakin's fall. It's either like you have too many people going full blame on the Jedi, and too many people going full blame on Palpatine. I think there's a middle ground between those two where it falls. Certainly with more of it on Palpatine. But
Anakin is a good kid who fell down the alt-right pipeline. And I feel like there was a good portion of the fan base who, at the same time, it was falling down the same exact pipeline. So, of course, nothing was Anakin's fault because that's just what they were doing. You know what I mean? It's like, it's obviously everything Palpatine is saying to him is a lie. He's absolutely lying to him. He's telling him he's the best. No, you're the best. You are. If they don't use you, then they're really dumb. And I'm the only person that can help you do all this stuff. And you're like, yeah, and all that stuff was lies. And then the one person who's like, yeah, you're not ready for this, they blame him because he didn't give him what he wanted. It's insane. Mace Windu and Anakin do not interact a lot. They don't interact very much in Star Wars as a whole. I think it's really dumb to blame Mace Windu. They literally don't interact very often.
I think they have one scene together that's not a council meeting, if I'm not wrong, and that's it. And he's at most being like, he's kind of rolling his eyes at Anakin, not even like doing anything horrible.
They have a
in like season 1 of Clone Wars.
They have a mission together in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And then they actually agree in Dark Disciple on something. When they're planning to assassinate Dooku, Mace proposes it, and Anakin literally says, "Yo, we agree on nothing, but with this, I'm with you, man."
Yeah.
It'd be funny if Mace at that time was like, "Sit down."
He's like,
or if as soon as Anakin agreed, yeah, he's like, "Never mind." He's like, "This is a horrible idea."
No, I love specifically in Brotherhood. You know, Anakin's like, man, Mace Windu, he's looking at me like I'm gonna do something wrong. You know, I can feel him. Yeah. Next scene, Anakin, who's on a mission to train younglings, is bailing on the younglings, and but taking one of them with him to go and to go into an active war zone with a child. And Mace Windu calls him, and he's like, "I can't talk right now. I'm going through a space tunnel. I gotta go." And you're like, "That's why." Like, you understand that, right? No.
Yeah. Joshua on TikTok says our community just teared up. Where? What does that mean? Is that a TikTok thing? Am I doing this right? Did I win?
Teared up like they're crying?
No, tiered up like a tier list.
Oh, gotcha.
Eden Black says it's like Trump. Yeah, of course he's evil, but like, what about this guy? Oh man, it's like, oh gosh,
it's ingenious to become a caricature. It allows you so much freedom to just like do and say whatever you want, and people just overlook it.
It's like
what was it yesterday? Someone called Stephen Miller ugly, and everyone's like clutching their pearls and like, how dare you, how could you possibly? Meanwhile, Trump is like, quiet piggy, and they're like, no, that's normal, that's cool.
But it makes sense too, right? Because like if you think about it, Trump would be Sidious, Biden would be the Jedi Order, and Barack Obama would be Mace Windu. It's like he's always blaming them. What is it, like almost 10 years from his last like office? Obama left in 20.
Oh yeah, I know. Like, oh yeah, no, he was divisive. Like, nah, he just wore a tan suit once.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like that's the thing.
Hey, Aaron, thank you for hanging out. We appreciate you, and hopefully we'll see you next time.
All right, so we are on our lore segment, but I feel like we've exhausted a lot of our lore, unless people in the chat want to talk about something. I did have a
I'm gonna be right back.
I did have a guess that Silhouette planned, but I didn't finish it in time. Batosai says, random question, what are your thoughts on Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny? I never saw it, which probably says what I think about it.
No, I mean the movie in and of itself is fine, but like, listen, I love Harrison Ford. But he is so old. They want to capture magic that I don't think you really can, at least not right now. And he needs to, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's time to move on.
You think that was like the extent of what he could do in The Rise of Skywalker?
Maybe like there's a physicality that I just don't think he can do anymore. And that's no hate or disrespect. He's just very
Yeah, in general, Han Solo.
JC Wright Dad says it's time to do roles like Shrinking. He's phenomenal in Shrinking. That's a great show. I don't know if you've seen Shrinking. Why is Apple TV like pumping out bangers that no one talks about?
Because Apple's rich.
That's true.
I didn't even realize he came back.
Oh, I moved quick.
Yeah, they're rich. They have Monarch. I gotta catch up on that one. They have Silo. I have to catch up on that as well. It just depends, man. Like I feel like Prime and Apple TV Plus is riding heavily on the wave of the cash that comes in from.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they got to be running as like a loss leader or something like that because they don't really even advertise their shows. There's just a lot of really high quality stuff on there. What was that? The director one? What's it called? The industry? No, the
producer.
Oh my goodness! But it's really good as well. And then the Isaac Asimov show,
Foundation.
Yeah, that's really good.
Did that come back too?
Has it come back?
I feel like I have a weekend
break. I
full
haven't
of
come
Apple
back to it
TV
since.
Plus to kind of knock out and catch up with all of those shows.
I haven't watched the morning show yet, but I do want to. They look good.
That's what I don't understand about some sequel haters. They wanted the OT trio to be all Billy Badass, but that's just not where they were at their ages. I mean, I also think in general it was a mistake to have them there to begin with, but I realized why they had them there.
Yeah, I mean, it was their last chance to really put them on screen, so I can see why they would want to.
Yeah.
I there's a lot of people I talked to, especially like The Last Jedi. They wanted to see Luke Skywalker being a badass. And they want to see him at the height of their power because we've never seen that, right? Return of the Jedi is when he becomes a Jedi. At the very end of the movie, the last bit, we have not been able to see and spend time with him being the ultra badass that we know that he was. The problem is like, that's just, this wasn't that movie. That's just literally not, it can't be in this movie. It's not what this movie's about and not what it's for. And so I think there's a lot of sadness of not getting that. And honestly, like there's an interview back in like 1982 where like George Lucas was spinning around with ideas and like he hit up Mark Hamill and he's like, we should do something. I think, why did I say he wanted to do it in like either 2002 or 2012? It just never happened. Give us an animated show. I want Luke in his prime, please.
That's the answer. You'd think they would know that as a medium would work well for that, just because they already did it with Clone Wars. Like Clone Wars is all main saga characters doing stuff we never got to see in the movies.
I mean, they did it with Maul, too.
Yeah,
like they're doing it with Tails. I feel like animation is a strong vehicle with which to tell stories of characters that have already passed. Phrasing. Characters that are already past their prime, past their age of playing these characters, because like even if we were to do like by the time that they had purchased Lucasfilm and by the time that they were actively producing sequels, they were already at that age. So if anyone wanted a ipso facto New Jedi Order EU adaptation, you weren't going to get it, at least not with the same cast. Or you would have gotten it with like very physically like hindered actors de-aged. I mean, I can only imagine like Harrison Ford physically playing Han Solo when he's supposed to be like, you know, a year older than in Return of the Jedi, but his face looks, you know, young, but physically he's still moving like Biden.
I think it's a miracle we got as much movement from him in Force Awakens as we did.
By the way, they DH him in the beginning of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and it was weird. And they tried all the tricks. They tried making it super dark so you couldn't really tell. It was weird.
I like that sequence a lot, but it
was a great sequence.
It's the best
but
they
like,
can do, really. It's like, yeah.
But yeah, I'm also, you know, watching, what is it, Polar Express? Like, it's.
But that's exactly what I talk about too. They even tried to do that with Luke in Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett, where they had a physical stand-in, and then
looks exactly like Luke.
Yeah, and then they grafted over the
person.
face, and that still looked weird. So I don't know if like we would have ever. This is why we're talking about animation, because like if we are ever to have anything with Luke, Han, and Leia in those, you know, Twilight years, I don't know if that's the right word, in their prime years, animation is the way to do it. And get voice actors, because honestly it is the weirdest thing to hear Mark Hamill in his 60s over a young Luke in Force of Destiny.
Force of Destiny did that. Yeah, that was odd. I liked the Book of Boba Fett Luke, and I think it worked for a cameo, but it's not really sustainable for like anything longer than the 2 scenes or 3 scenes he was in. So I think it's just like you gotta pick something, either animation or recast.
Yeah.
Sharp shot is Anakin the biggest whiner in the galaxy? No, Luke is a bigger whiner than Anakin.
I would say Ben is up there too.
Who?
Kylo.
Oh, Ben? Yeah.
Anakin's the biggest sulker. Because like Anakin's the biggest woe is me character.
Go back and listen to Mark Hamill's delivery in A New Hope. It's just some of the whiniest dialogue I've ever heard in anything in my entire life. He obviously is very effective, and he does it intentionally. But like, remember that he runs the ship. And he's like, "What's that do?" And he's like pushing buttons, and you're like, "Bro, you're like 19. Stop it. Knock it off."
Yeah. Like, I hate to say this about Mark Hamill, but yeah, if I look back,
he played it well.
If I look back and remember the
naive
movies, he played it whiny as well.
I think Mark Hamill's acting in those movies, I think his biggest strength is that he's a protagonist. I don't think there's a single point in any second of the original trilogy where you don't know what Luke is thinking or feeling, if that makes sense. Yeah. I think that's his biggest strength. He nails like exactly what the audience is supposed to see from Luke, even if it is like, hey, we're gonna make this kid super whiny, and then by the end of it, here's how different he'll be.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, of the entire original trilogy, I think that's its greatest strength, is that you could speak, like, if you could speak Japanese and you understand everything that's going on, and you understand what everyone's feeling, and you know what I mean, the music and tone conveys more than enough, and I think that's awesome.
What was the line that he says in A New Hope to Han? That was the biggest whine of them all.
Well, I'm not such a bad pilot myself. That one.
No, it ends with because he says it really fast. It's like
his words.
Now you want to stay?
Yeah. First you want to leave, and now you're gonna stay. Yeah. He says he speaks like you close up like a water hose, and his words got backed up, and then you let it go, and it's like,
burst out. Yeah.
Did the twins know Coin was going to kill him?
I don't understand that sentence.
Did the twins? I assume they don't care. Like either, I mean, if they'll just hire another bounty hunter if Mando gets off, right?
Did the twins know that Coin was going to kill him?
Rhoda?
Oh, Rhoda, maybe.
I believe
Probably
so. I
elaborate.
believe they established, like, because Rada says, like when Din is like, I'm here
No,
to
they don't
rescue
know.
you. Rada says, that's not what they want. Like, they want you to take me back to them so that they can kill me.
Yeah. So Rada knew they wanted that the twins wanted to kill him, but they didn't know Coin was going to kill him.
Yeah.
What the twins told the audience was that, you know, him fighting like that is a shame to the Hutt name, and, you know, and yada yada. But yeah, I fully believe that they were just going to, you know, kill Rada as soon as they got him. And if they knew Coin was going to kill him, they just wouldn't have done anything.
Pep, I am working on a bunch of trivia questions for Mando and Grogu if you would like to be participant instead of the trivia master in a week or two. If I can compete against Choco. Or Gage.
Sure.
Is Gage participating too?
I'd
love to lose to Gage once.
I need to see it again. But
No, I feel like I remember everything. No, it would probably be best to see it again.
what's the name of the snow planet they're on?
Oh, the snow planet?
I don't know the answer.
I don't think they even named
Did
it.
they do the? Do they? Yeah, they don't do the lower right for all of them, right?
No. I feel like the only planet
Yeah,
they named
so-
was
so
Shikari
even-
and Nalhada.
To Bato's eyes, even in the movie, Coin himself says, like, only 3 people know this, or whatever. Yeah, even he says that no one knew his plan to kill Rada.
Yeah, so he said that answers my question, because at the end they said that the Hutts and the Imperial remnants were allies. They weren't allies. They had
Trading
reached
info,
they had
right?
reached a deal.
The Hutts have no allies. You know, they have arrangements, and they might stab you in the back at any point.
They might sit on you.
Yeah, they might stab you in the front.
And I think their deal was that they would feed the New Republic false information.
They'd feed the Empire good information too, I believe. They were trading secrets with them in general.
Yeah.
That's
And I
what
think that's-
allowed the strike to happen, I think, is probably they were like, oh, you're actively like supporting our enemies. We don't care if it's neutral space anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what happens largely with, like, because Rada's the one that tells Din that Coin is the Imperial Warlord. Right? He doesn't get that information from the twins. And so I think they come to the conclusion that even if Din had brought Rada back to the twins, he wouldn't have gotten the correct information. Like, I think Rada says too. Oh, I'm just gonna have to rewatch this movie. Rada says, like, they were never gonna tell you the information.
He said something along those lines. I like the state of the galaxy where you've got, like, there was that guy in Aftermath who ruled Kashyyyk, and they had to take him out, and then you've got this guy ruling the snow planet and having all those. I like the warlord era of Star Wars a lot. I think it's interesting seeing their different methods and, like, the different ways these guys get finally taken out.
It's a lot more interesting than, like, them killing the Emperor, and, like, suddenly that entire infrastructure just crumbles.
Yeah,
You know.
that's one of the strengths of the original Thrawn books too, I think, is they were like, 8-year time jump. Yep, there's still an issue, you know?
Tauntauns were shown in the TV spot, so I think the snow planet may be Hoth.
I will say that, an Imperial Warlord going to hide out on Hoth is really funny, like, from his point of view.
It might have been Hoth, honestly, because at the end of,
Could be.
I mean, in Empire, they're attacking Echo Base, but, like, they have to leave. They have to evacuate. So I'd imagine the Empire did kind of supplant them on Hoth, but we don't know for sure. Ryan PW also speculated it was the snow planet in Solo.
Oh, interesting.
What
Imperial
planet was
presence
that?
to be there. The one with the snow. Did they lower third every planet in Solo? I don't think they did. Didn't
I think they did, yeah.
Fondor? No, that's the shipyard.
We got a lower third of Corellia. We got a lower third of Kessel,
Vandor.
Vandor. Yeah.
and then we got a lower third of Savarine.
Savarine.
I mean,
Did they
like it when
did they
do
lower
that.
third Mimbom?
Yeah.
Or did they just jump into that? Okay.
I also find it funny that like during that time, especially like in Rogue One, when they lower thirded what was that? The prison planet. That
It has a number in it, right? I don't
Leanna
remember.
Halleck was on. What planet was that? That the Republic rescued Leanna Halleck, aka
see.
Jyn Erso.
I actually do not know this one either. Wobani, apparently.
Wobani. They lower thirded that, and there were that's always been the case with these like non-saga films. And in Obi-Wan Kenobi, when they lower thirded Alderaan, there were people hating on that. It's like this isn't Star Wars doesn't label planets. I'm like, oh my god.
I thought it was funny that Rogue One labeled every planet but Mustafar to keep the illusion up.
I mean, you don't need to lower third that when you've got Fortress Vader there.
Yeah. Did 9 lower third planets?
No.
I could have sworn Ajin Kloss popped up, but I do not remember.
No.
Yeah,
it's
it's been a while. It's been a hot minute. I'll have to rewatch
Not
it.
the most rewatched one for me. But
I don't think any of the like mainline saga films lower third any planets.
Gotcha.
Because I remember specifically learning the locations from the visual dictionary.
I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, that visual dictionary dropped the bombshell that that movie starts on Mustafar, which I don't think anyone could have remotely guessed, really.
But our next movie, Starfighter, I like that theory a lot. That he's bringing Grogu to Rey's school.
Because I think the synopsis came out for the movie, and it was very. The synopsis was more dramatic than I thought it would be. It was saying that he carries the future of the Force or something, or could change the Force forever. So I don't know if it's supposed to be maybe Rey's first student, or it's
Is that really?
I don't know.
Did it really drop?
I think it was. I think so. Let me see. Unless that was just a fake, because I think they all got added to IMDb, all the actors who were in it.
Well, it says here, a lone pilot, Ryan Gosling, who is tasked by a mother, Amy Adams, with escorting her teenage son across a lawless, rebuilding galaxy while being pursued by dangerous antagonists. Though I don't know if that's the official synopsis.
There was something that came out recently that said could alter the future of the Force itself, but I also don't know if that was legitimate or not.
Let's see. Well, there's this quote from Sean Levy. I really wanted to craft something that felt organic to me, both in tone and characters, so I think that there's certainly the Force and a connection to something bigger than our individual selves, and the way that can make us powerful. Those themes combined with visual delight and wish fulfillment. That's Star Wars to me. That's a very old one.
I do not know who the source is. But I'm seeing.
You know how we are, Gage, man. We can't rely on the synopsis if it ain't verified.
MaxBlizz.com.
I mean, there is a certain log. There is a confirmed log line that says that he is escorting a mother's teenage son.
Teenage son, yeah.
But I don't think we have a larger synopsis.
I see
Yeah, I
people
mean, it's
talking
a-
about it, but I just don't know where it came from. to begin with.
I don't know where it came from either. I just was on a podcast where they were talking about it. We did like a around the horn style thing, and I was like, I don't know what we're talking about, but I'm excited.
I do like that though. I think. Listen, when we're thinking about escorting a teenage son, I don't like through a lawless galaxy, again pursued by antagonists. Like, I don't think of like gangsters like having it out for a teenager. So I feel like there is a force sensitive person in there.
No. Again, this just draws a straight line through all the facts that we know, because we're like, why would there be a lightsaber battle at
That's
somewhere in the story? You know, why was Ryan Gosling not on set for this battle? Right? Wasn't that what Tom Cruise shot with him?
Gosling said the one day he wasn't there was the day that Cruise shot the lightsaber battle.
And like all this random stuff, and every little bit and piece of thing that I hearing that could be the synopsis, like, just draws a straight line. Okay, awesome. Smuggler, what is he smuggling? This teenager, where is he smuggling to him? Rey, why? Because he's force sensitive.
Yeah.
Yep. And then maybe he drops the kid off and the lightsaber battle is afterward. I mean, I can't think of a better way to reintroduce Rey to the screen than just to have her give her a lightsaber battle and show that she's way better than she used to be, you know? Show that, like, that just like we were just talking about how we never got to see that Luke right after he's become a Jedi, where he's now like a full master and doing stuff. Rey has that opportunity one day.
Dude, that's gonna make the Chuds so angry.
Oh, it will. I think though, like, Mando and Grogu took so much pressure off that movie by releasing beforehand. It's no longer that Starfighter has to carry the "we're back to Star Wars" thing.
Yeah.
So I think like it probably helps a little bit, at least with them.
I'm just thinking about the memes. Like, we got Rey at her prime before GTA 6, but like we got Rey at her prime before like Luke at his prime.
And you're like, yeah, that's because George Lucas waited until after Mark Hamill was out of his prime to sell Star Wars. Like, we never had a chance.
I think that at least Mando gave us a drop of it, so they can't complain that we've never seen it at least.
And that's the other thing, is Luke at his prime, I don't think the Chuds would like anyways.
No.
Well, they're not going to read Shadows of the Sith. They would never.
Well, no, but I mean, like, a lot of people, they want to see Luke tearing down Star Destroyers from the sky, or like slicing through stormtroopers, and like Luke doesn't do that. Like, he really wants peace with everyone and wants to give everyone a chance. You know what I mean? Like a Jedi would. Like, that's the issue. What we saw in The Mandalorian was because he was slicing through robots. He wouldn't do that with people.
If I'm not wrong, in Shadows of the Sith, which is the closest thing we have to an older Luke but not sequel Luke, he has a lightsaber duel in that, and the entire lightsaber duel, he's like, please stop, please. Like,
he's like,
you know, like,
don't make me kill you. I really don't want to kill you.
Over and over.
And that's one of the things I don't get, because it's an inconsistent complaint. Because a lot of people will also point to Luke being disillusioned in The Last Jedi. I'm like, that's not Luke. And then they'll show clips from Battlefront 2 where he's willing to help people because they asked for it. It's like, yeah, he's eternally hopeful. But then you also want a Luke that's just like cutting people down with disregard. And it's like, which one is Luke?
And Del Meeko, while he's still an Imperial, you know, helps him peaceably and leaves him alone.
Yeah, if I'm not wrong, he starts off the mission fighting stormtroopers, and he even says, I don't want to do that. He has some ambient dialogue about not wanting to fight them. And then it switches to bugs, so he doesn't even have to worry about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta give the Empire some credit. Because, like, the number one counter to, I suppose, the proliferation of Luke is use human troopers. Because, like, every time we see the separatists get like steamrolled, anytime we see the Empire get like steamrolled, it's inanimate objects. But you know what? Do you think Luke lives with the billions that he killed on Death Star?
I bet that he doesn't enjoy that he had to do that. But I think probably there is a part of him that's got to go. Like, what else was I going to do there? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, but like,
A lot of people. Though.
I think about how he looked, his excitement at the notion of getting into an X-wing and fighting. Like when he was talking with Biggs, and like he's like, "I'll see you out there, man."
Yeah,
he's very gung-ho about it.
Yeah, I'm sure he grapples with it now, but that would be post Return of the Jedi Luke, right? Because one, like when you're in a war, you're in a war, and two, I mean, wars do not make one great is a lesson he learns from Yoda after that point in time, you know. He doesn't have the lessons of the Jedi in him at that point, and so I don't think he would hold it against himself.
Yeah, you just gotta make sure everything, like the animated show that we do of Luke in his prime, every opponent he has is just a droid. Because even when he fights off the Knights of Ren, but even when he fights off the Knights of Ren in Rise of Kylo Ren, he's still pretty apprehensive about taking them out. You know, non-lethal measures.
They're a bit more, in my opinion, probably reachable than your average post-Empire stormtrooper who's like the most fanatical person alive, you know? But one of my favorite passages Jedi-wise that reminded me of that was Reporter Angle. I think it's in the Blade comic where he talks about how he has to, like, he restrains himself from blocking blaster bolts back into people because it would be too easy for him. Where he's like, I could, I could just block it straight back into your head. I'd rather block it back into your blaster, even if it's more effort. And I feel like Luke would probably go for that kind of approach.
Yeah.
Luke's not that good.
Yeah, Luke's no Porter,
Angle.
I think he'd probably reach something close to that eventually, but
I also just love, like, the general sentiment that, like, without any practical training or classical training, Luke became like the most powerful Jedi, like post return.
Yeah, it depends on he's got the whole Jedi archives at his table. I don't know if that covers the lightsaber stuff.
Like that's what I mean by practical, right? Like you can watch Anakin's Hollow on Form 4, you can read about the forms, but like who's instructing you, right? That's why I call him a YouTube Jedi.
But also, there's no Jedi and there's no Sith. So he's, you know what I mean? This is like,
that's true.
Isn't his whole thing that he's just like self-taught and is just like somehow insanely good? Because he beats the Grand Inquisitor, if I'm not wrong, like right after Episode 5, I think. And that guy's pretty formally taught.
I don't think that was like a Spectre.
Yeah, but I don't think the intention is
that. Are you talking about the fight
weaker.
he had with him on Tempest?
On Elfrona. At the temple. I think it's Elfrona.
No,
it is a Spectre of the Grand Inquisitor,
He finds a High Republic temple on Tempest and finds his yellow lightsaber, and that's when the Spectre of the Grand Inquisitor.
But I don't think there's the implication is that that's not the Grand Inquisitor. Like, because he has that whole line
Vader
about,
talks to him and is like, "You're cursed to this location."
Yeah, and he has that line to Kanan about.
I don't know if he's more powerful or if he's weaker. I don't know if he,
Yeah. But
I think
Elfrona is where he goes with Snoke. That's with the Knights of Ren.
Yeah.
Mixed them up.
this brings me back to like Vader being the most powerful because no one was around, right? All of the most skilled Jedi were killed in Order 66.
But
I refer to the fight with Seer Junda in Survivor, and she like almost wrecks him. Right? She has him on the ropes. So I feel like that's like that, including Kira Kanfila, is a great indicator of like what a real Jedi Master would be to a Darth Vader in that time.
Yeah, she has the benefit of she talks about she completely let go of her fear of him, which is kind of the Vader. I feel like that's a big like counter to Vader, is that if you're not afraid of him, you're going to do much better.
But you also have, I mean, just Vader as a Sith Lord is more free to fight in unpredictable ways and to fight dirty, right? That's really how he beats most people. And we're also talking about, you know, their power or their connection to the Force. And while Vader's is immense, as is, you know, Luke's, Luke is, you know, would be more so. Think about it like horsepower, right? More horsepower doesn't mean you're going to win the race. You know what I mean? Like there's still a lot more. More often than not, it'd actually be better to upgrade your brakes than it is to upgrade your engine. You know, if you know how to drive.
Yeah, it's all about the driver, right?
It's true.
With Mandalorian and Grogu out, there has been all of this noise about the state of Star Wars, which some say is catastrophic, box office and everything else is in consideration, like previous shows, movies. Is that the case? No. We talked about this previously, earlier in the show, but box office isn't any. It's the box office. What it is an indicator of is the landscape of the film industry right now, right? Because I brought up Michael, the biopic of Michael Jackson, the King of Pop, only made somewhere around 300 something million, and that's been in theaters for 30 plus days, right? And Mandalorian and Grogu has made a little over half that in 7. And it's going to continue to grow. I don't know if it's going to grow any larger than that, but it just goes to show that, like, even the movie Obsession that overtook Mandalorian and Grogu on Wednesday didn't make a lot of money, right? It just surpassed it for that day. So it's no indicator of like the state of Star Wars at all.
Let's see. Box office aside, is Star Wars in a catastrophic state in some sense? Listen, I mean, I go back to Qui-Gon Jinn, your focus determines your reality. I definitely say no, it's not. But like to some people, sure it is, right? There are some movies right now that are super successful. Not everyone is. But judging movies right now in the theater by box office compared to pre-pandemic, you know, numbers is nonsensical, right? The industry has fundamentally changed, as all industries do. Trying to judge it by toy sales is nonsensical, because kids nowadays are playing on iPads more than anything else. Like, and if you look at it by that metric, you can look at Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, which makes gobs of money and has been forever. You know, but like if Toys R Us and KB Toys couldn't stay in business because people weren't buying toys, then it would be really dumb to look at toy sales from the 80s and 90s and being like, well, they're not doing that now, therefore it's not working. You know, so I don't know. But again, your focus determines your reality. The best metrics that we have to speak officially would be to look at how valuable the IP is. And the IP is super duper valuable. It's gone up more than 10 times since the purchase. So I still have to say no, right? Even if you didn't like the sequel trilogy, all 3 of them are amongst the highest grossing films of all time. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't like it, that's okay. If you don't like the direction where things are going, that's fine. If you don't want to watch anymore or invest more of your time in there, that's great. I think we need to stop trying to look for metrics to say like this is an official fact versus your opinion. People were so disappointed when they weren't able to get tickets for Star Wars Celebration. They're still angry at that fact, right? The Star Wars convention, I mean, I think that bodes well.
Yeah, the Star Wars Celebration sold out the day of.
Versus like D23, which had stuff including Star Wars, didn't sell out. It was actually pretty empty when we were there.
Well, here's the kicker on that one. It sold out on day one, but those tickets are way more expensive than a movie ticket.
Yeah.
But another thing we need to think of outside of post-pandemic is just the economy in general is shitting itself right now, right? People don't even people are like apprehensive of just like eating out.
Yeah.
So
I think people talk about the state of Star Wars where they go, oh man, Disney blew it with their trilogy and now they're relying on these TV shows to carry the brand. We've been here before, guys. Like 2000, early 2000s prequels come out, people hate them. Star Wars vanishes for a little bit. They come back with the Clone Wars show. Clone Wars show has to keep this thing alive for a couple of years. It's not a unfounded era to be in. And I think now they have more freedom than ever. They can do all these different movies that they want with a new CEO and kind of a new, exec of Disney as well. They can do a whole new approach now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. You say a Barbenheimer. Yeah. So there was a fluke in the industry of the most successful marketing campaign that we've seen in years, which is the combined budget of two massive films with two separate audiences, is what we have to compete with. See, that's what's insane, is to make that comparison.
But it also comes on the heel of a recovering economy during Biden's presidency that also included massive stimulus packages to the citizenry, as it were. So we were getting a lot of help. We were trying to recover from, massive shutdowns, and we were on the up and up.
Yeah.
This was in 2023. We were on the up and up, and it was people were recovering, but like, compare it to now, and I'm not even going to cite who's president now. I'm just going to say right now the economic conditions, like regardless of president, the economic conditions are on a downtrend. People can't afford gas, they can't afford food or groceries. It's really a tough time to entertain any recreation.
I mean, and even more than the actual facts of the downshift in the economy, you also have the consumer sentiment about the economy, which is worse than it was in 2008. So yeah, I think that's a big part of it as well.
I saw an all-timer tweet about it, which was someone said, hey, he was right. He told me if I voted for Harris in the last election that my gas would go up and my groceries would go up. And it's like, I voted for Harris in the last election. She didn't win and my gas went up and my groceries went up. Like he was telling the truth.
I just know that, like, parties aside, presidents aside, we're in the shitter right now and we can't afford anything. And people can't make anything either. Income is down, Wage growth is barely
non-existent.
visible.
The jobs are non-existent, and this is all. Now I'm sad. Thank you.
Yeah, industry-wise, it's rough too. You go to a movie theater, and the main way they're making money is by selling 8 different versions of a popcorn bucket and hoping that when someone buys their ticket, they'll drop the 80 for that, and that counts for like 6 people.
For $50.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was gonna buy it if
The ad was tempting. I was like, I don't even know where to put this.
No.
But yeah, that's where we are. It's no indication of any fandom. Honestly, it's not an indication of Star Wars. It's not an indication of Michael Jackson. It's just, you really have to scrutinize where you spend your money. And I call it a success that Mandalorian and Grogu has made as much as it's made in the amount of time that it's made it. And
Yeah, I think when I made that prediction, I said 100 million, and in my head I was like, I don't think, like, I'm being optimistic with that, and then it ended up being pretty close.
And I don't think, and then a lot of people will say, well, what about the global markets? Like, like anything that happens in America adversely affects the global markets.
Well, I mean, honestly, it's worse, and it's worse out there, right? Because at least the United States has its own, our own oil and stuff like that, where our prices are going up because the costs per gallon are going up, and obviously the oil companies are beholden to the shareholders to get the greatest price. But in other places in the world, they are directly doing like rationing, especially in like Asia. Because it's worse. It's worse in most other places.
That being said, Star Wars is fine, honestly. It's got Starfighter that's wrapped, so they're working on that. New Jedi Order has a script now, so that's in pre-pro.
We got 2 games coming out.
2 games coming out.
I'm really excited for. I'm excited to talk about secrets I know that I can't talk about.
I saw Zero Company said something recently that it includes not just the prequel, and I thought that was interesting. I don't know if that's just like an epilogue mission or something, but I think that would be very cool.
Yeah, but I don't think, for the most part, we have nothing to worry about in terms of Star Wars and the state of it. I think we honestly, we need to worry more about the state of our real lives and trying to recover from this. Because honestly, like I do think that in order for Starfighter to do well, this economy needs to be in a better shape by the time it comes out, right? Because for all intents and purposes, like, Mandalorian Grogu scored an A- cinema score. Everyone that's talking about it enjoyed it, at the very least enjoyed it. It's fun. It's not the best movie ever, but the sentiment is largely positive. And so, we just have to weather the storm, and then come out the other side, hopefully for the better. But thank you to Gage for calling in. As always, you're always welcome to call in. Thank you to chat for hanging out and talking Star Wars with us, as always. Choco, any final thoughts before we head out?
Yeah, said it before, I'll say it again. Your focus determines your reality. So if you spend a lot of time in circles saying doom and gloom, then you're gonna come out saying doom and gloom. That's just what it is. It's okay. Once again, if you think Star Wars is bad, in a bad state, if you think it's declining, if it's not what you want it to be, step away, please. leave us alone. You know what I mean? And if it's going to die, let's let the market decide. If it's going to die, then let it die on its own. But if you're actively trying to kill it, then obviously it's not dying, right?
Batosai says, me, a Star Wars hater, trying to argue against the Dyad. They are invincible. They're invincible. No, I mean, listen, we just...
Batosai, you're not a Star Wars hater. I always appreciate you. I get happy every time you come in. Again, maybe take a break. Maybe hop into the Star Trek fandom for a little bit, and come back. I've done that for many different fandoms. Have taken a break.
Spooky is actually saying something different.
Yeah, she's saying like Star Trek has it worse than us. Don't complain, kind of thing.
Okay, well then, never mind. But even if it's like getting a breath of fresh air going for a walk, right? I'm a massive fan of DC and DC Comics, and there was a whole period of time where I hated everything that was coming out. You know, especially the show Titans. Oh, you know, and then they kept making not Batman shows. Like, oh, Gotham. This is Gotham City before Batman. Oh, this is Pennyworth. It's Alfred without Batman. Like, stop it, knock it off. But now I'm hopeful. I took a break. I didn't watch stuff I didn't want to watch, and now I'm back in it, and I'm excited. If you think we're in a bad state, take a break.
I feel like
Walk away.
Choco has bitten the last couple of sarcasms but Dosai was like, nah, man. It's a line from of Crook, his avatar. He's not actually a hater.
I thought that was strange as well, because I didn't think he was a hater. But in general, I was thinking about how well I think DC Comics is doing, and how awesome a lot of the absolute runs have been, and how excited I am for Supergirl, and all this stuff. And I remember how down I was on DC for years. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, just take a break.
Yeah.
Move on.
At the end of the day, like, it's not that we're invincible. Our goal has always been to, like, give people context. And yeah, there's a certain level of, like, we really don't like the woe is me approach of looking at things, because I mean, I'll admit, like, Mandalorian Grogu hasn't made as much as I would have liked it to make, but it's, you know, given the context with which it exists, the economy, it makes sense. So, you know, it's not that we're here to eternally combat, like, any kind of negative sentiment. It's just that, like, we want to make sure that the sentiments in general are tempered by, you know, all of, like, the information, because I mean, it's still alive, you know. Celebration sold out. Galaxy's Edge is still profitable, and even with the loss of, like, you know, major segments in the toy industry, the merch sales are still there, and that's because of adults like you and me spending our hard-earned money on.
That was the most depressing thing to find out. It's like merch sales are actually up because it's more expensive now, and we're buying high collectibles rather than the little cheap stuff for kids.
I think you missed my last comment.
That's okay. We're hitting 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Wrapping it.
But thank you guys so much for tuning in, hanging out with us, and being patient with us as always. We'll be back next week to talk about something else. We'll see. It's still going to be based a lot around Star Wars, but, you know, as is always the case with our mixers and with our overlap with other fandoms, we will talk about whatever you guys are talking about, man. You know, our conversation's your conversation. But that's it. On to the next one.
For Light and for Life,
we are all Rada the Hutt.
May the force be with you.
peace, y'all.